This is a history.
Hello world! We are live. So, gonna be going over a couple things today. Be fun. I've got some fun stuff. Be looking at like Keffals came back to the internet, like after being gone a few months. So that'll be interesting. But first I was gonna look at this debate, which is interesting. I don't know anything about this, haven't pre-watched it or anything. This is Stardust, who's kind of like mid-ish, like drama plus politics streamer. You know, came out of like the DDG orbit. She's been around a while. I'm sure some people watching us know who she is. Anyway, she did recently this interview with like some art community spurg named LioConvoy. I know nothing about this guy really. I was looking him up, and even the stuff on him, it's like apparently it's just like some sort of like transformer name. I don't know. My knowledge of Transformers is kind of limited, so we can get into that. Maybe I'll make my character a little smaller. Beep. Beep.
You apologize for being ableist, but that's about it. You didn't apologize for calling her a hole. You didn't apologize for calling her a whore. You didn't apologize for threatening to call her mom. You didn't apologize for, you know, knowing beforehand that she had all of these conditions and still continuing to let people call her.
We'll go ahead
and letting people, you know, berate her for 4 hours. How closely have you worked with a local police department or child safety organization
it's a little long,
to
I'll
make
go
sure
ahead
what you are doing actually protects children and doesn't jeopardize any legal investigation? NCMEC is somebody who offers classes and seminars for child safety. It's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So you haven't done any classes in that? Yes. You haven't done any classes in that? UNICEF does classes? You haven't done any classes in that. Have you had any education, any formal education in how to properly report these things? I have a lawyer.
Wait, so is this guy like another like a shit pedo hunter who, or I mean pedo hunter who's a shit at his job?
It's a her, by the way.
Lio, you are incredibly incorrect when it comes to the protections afforded by Section 230 to both free speech and as well as other threats made in person. Until or unless someone is making a crime.
Also, apparently this guy's like connected to like Hopeless Peaches.
Under Section 230, as it has not been reformed,
I know who Hopeless Peaches is, but
so yes, you are absolutely
not really in with the art community.
It's incredibly inappropriate for you to think or try to state, oh, so
I find the T and art thing a little cringe.
As opposed to legal. You know that those are two different standards. First, I want to make sure that they're mentally and physically okay, and that they feel safe wherever they are, and make sure that they are currently safe. And
which is contradictory. By the way, it's contradictory directly to what Lio does, because he has had Jordan directly confront one of your predators. So
what? Why? Why would you do that?
Because it wasn't somebody that was sitting there sending them. It was somebody who was talking and orbiting around them. And it was also something Jordan demanded.
If you're putting the welfare of the victim first, it doesn't matter if they demand it. They don't. That is not healthy for them. That is not protecting them.
Cat. I seem to remember this as like her thumbnail. Yeah, it's like cat with her hair. It's kind of long, so I might up the speed a bit.
The interview with me.
More.
I really appreciate it. I know you've been under
Put it to like
1.5, especially recently. I guess, part of the reason why I want to do an interview is like, I think it's a good way for you to get your side of the story out, and as well as
is that like a thing with like her stream?
Pretty pointed
do
questions.
Like chicken emotes or
things, right? So I guess like if you want to just like give an intro to who you are, introduce yourself to the chat for people who don't know who you are, I guess.
Okay, well, I'm LioConvoy. I'm a dork that would prefer to talk about things like comics, cartoons, and action figures, but I've been doing predator hunting and trying to help people for the past...
Wait, so... This guy's doing, so, like, pedo hunting, but his, like, whole big claim to fame thing is channels, like... Because I looked at his channel, and it's, like, all him, like, talking about, like, Thundercats and Transformers and shit, like... I don't doubt that he knows his nerd media, but what is this shit?
And with fluctuating results, to say the least.
Okay.
Oh, that doesn't...
And when did you start making...
Dude, you're supposed to, like, pump yourself up. Fluctuating results already... Like, I'm already getting Mama Max vibes here, people. Oh, and it's just started.
Content.
2016, if you can call it content.
Okay. That's cool.
If you could call it content.
You like to focus on like dorky.
Dude, that's my line. I do the non-content content around here. Pick your own lane. Fool.
Kind of stuff, but you have encountered a decent amount of like at least success in viewership at least through the Predator Hunter content.
Well, not even through the Predator Hunter content specifically. It's more of just dealing with unpleasant individuals. Because even if you go on my channel, there's not as much predator hunting content as you'd probably assume. Most of the content is dealing with nefarious individuals of different calibers. It's not all predators.
Okay. And then also, I've heard that you're like a religious person as well.
Well, I guess you could call me a religious person. I'm a practicing Christian.
Okay. And it's fine that he's religious. I was just gonna say, it bothers me that, like, all these T channels, like, want to, like, front like they're doing, like, some sort of huge social service. Like, I'm protecting the kiddos. No, by, doing all this drama on these people. No, I could just send all this stuff to the cops. Or, like, a mod in the community or whatever, have it dealt with privately. But I want to make it into content. Aren't I cool?
I screw up, but I try.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Were you always religious, or is that something that's, like, recent in your life?
It's not recent. It's something I've always been.
Okay, that's cool. And does your, like, religiosity influence your content
Apparently
at all,
this gets really bad later on.
Well,
I have no
if
idea.
You're going to be a theological individual. It's going to influence every aspect of your life.
Okay. Like in what ways do you think it influences you?
Well, in general, even though I fail to, abide by it in several instances, it influences the moral values, it influences what you do, how you act, how you try to conduct yourself, things you will say, things you won't say, people you'll be around, stuff like that.
Okay, for sure. I think it's kind of interesting because I feel like I look into the art commentary community and I see like a bunch of people who are into really weird things, and so it's a little bit weird for me to like know that you are religious and you say it influences like who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with, and it's mostly I hate to say it, but like the art community to me looks like degenerate, you know?
Wait, so
Well,
art community, they're like
Sorry,
all...
I'm recovering from a cold. The art community, there's some people...
Like, are they all, like, all Satan worshippers and Wiccans or something? Am I missing out on something here? So... This is an entire video, I'll just do this. Bop 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 bop. Okay. I think I got all the retard out of my system now. Let's keep going.
From that I hang around, even though people keep lumping me in with the Art CC, like,
Yeah.
you're not going to see Art CC content on my channel. Like, they're just around.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm staring
for some
into
reason,
your
you haven't,
soul,
like,
people.
attracted a decent crowd from the art commentary community.
And I can tell you why that is. It's because a lot of people who watch the calls, they draw while watching it. That's why.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Prior to me, like, kind of getting into this and kind of investigating myself, I had mostly people who would, like, play video games when they would watch me or they would listen to me. And now, yeah, it's very different to have
I might
people
pull
who are,
up
like,
game.
drawing while they're listening to you. It's very, very interesting. So, yeah. Okay,
I'm an
so
artist myself, so I get wanting to have background noise. Sorry. Didn't
Oh,
interrupt.
really? No, it's fine. I didn't know you're an artist. What kind of art do you do?
Most people don't know I'm an artist, so it's okay. It varies. I worked for an indie comic company for about 3 years, and of course I just do random fan art, or sometimes I'll do thumbnails for people. It all depends.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, so, like, I guess we should just get right into it with the drama, the current drama in the art commentary community. So, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and I think I'm just going to focus on, like, a couple of things here, because there's just so much, and honestly, I don't think either one of us want to go into this, like, encyclopedia of knowledge of everybody else's lore. But what happened recently within the drama art community that you think caused this big explosion in drama, I guess, in your words? What do you think happened?
Well, there's people randomly picking up a call from over a year ago to talk about, which was the Rosa call. And I've made it very clear in my content, in my discussions, in conversations with other people, that's fair game. I was a complete...
Wait, didn't this guy go to court? Like, I don't know anything about this guy, but didn't he go to, like, court or something? I seem to remember seeing something about, like, that. No clue, really, though. Yeah, let's pull up. Because, yeah, I don't know if I can get through this on my own, people.
Another dickhead in that call. I was monstrous, and I wasn't right to do it. So if people want to criticize me, I will take it. I will not clap back. Have fun with it. Do what you need to. Anybody's open to have criticism thrown at me, and I'm one of those people. So you do you. That's one of the things. The other thing would be, well, the stunt Hopeless Peaches decided to pull right after the FCK stuff came to light. So that would be the things that kicked all of it off.
Okay. And what was the stunt that Peaches pulled off?
Basically, baselessly accusing me of being an abuser.
Yeah.
You've seen my
noticed
video,
that.
so I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have, yeah. So yeah, one thing I wanted to, I guess, go over is she accuses you, as well as other children that you have adopted, they have accused you of abusive behavior. And you said, basically, I guess the question that I have is, your response was more of, no, I'm not. Actually, this person is abusive, right? And not to say that you didn't present evidence, right? You did present evidence, at least in the the Peaches case, that, you know, that there was, like, some decent evidence there that things were not exactly how they portrayed them to be. So I guess one thing that, yeah. So sorry if I mess up pronouns also for people in the chat. I'm really terrible with names and pronouns. So I guess one question that I have is, you said, one of the claims that you made in your video was that Jordan specifically was
there, we'll get some crossword going in the...
were they abusive to you and your wife?
Abusive in terms of how they would treat us, how they'd operate around us, things they would do around the house, treating my wife specifically with a lot of cruelty in general by just
I'll
being
move
a random
myself
dickhead.
over
The unfortunate
here,
thing
move
about a lot of this is because
crossword
they're just
here.
claims of conversations that happen in person. It's not something I can immediately, obviously, pull out substantial evidence for, because who records conversations in their own home?
Yeah, that's fine. Do you have, like, specific examples you can recall that would, like, specific things that were said?
Well, there was the entire situation we had during Thanksgiving where Jordan was just a dick to everybody. There was a time Jordan, during Thanksgiving, tried to accuse me of threatening to hit him to random people on the internet, and when he was confronted about it, he...
Okay, I'm catching this. Wait, what the fuck? So... This is like a weird fucking Thanksgiving you're having. Like, is he, like... Is this, like, people in his family that are also in the art commentary community? Is he having, or is he having, like, Thanksgiving with, like, art commentary guys? Is this guy, like, that fucking lonely then no, he can't hang out with like his creepy uncle and grandparents or whatever. At least
did not like the fact that he was confronted over it. So it's
like, what the fuck am I listening to?
Jordan had an unfortunate habit of that. We worked with Jordan for a while, and that's why we had Jordan in the home, because we were trying to help him. And it seemed to me like any time he had to work on anything or anything was expected of him, he blew up at people.
Can you explain like how they were a dick over Thanksgiving?
Well, stomping around the house, not engaging with anybody properly, backbiting people when they didn't think anybody would hear about it, hence the claims of threatened to strike him, not responding when people were trying to talk to him, and the entire time we were at dinner, he just stared at his plate literally the entire time and refused to engage anybody.
Okay, interesting. And then you mentioned that Jordan was abusive towards you. You also say that Peaches may have been abusive as well as manipulative towards you. I guess one question that I have is, you are kind of, in a way, to me it seems like you were kind of shirking some responsibility, because you're saying, I was manipulated by this person, you know, who's 10 plus years younger than me.
What?
Not to say that people can't be manipulated by, you know, by younger people, they certainly can. But I don't see the same energy towards people like Kumo, right? So, like, one thing that you were talking about in your video is that you brought up Kumo.
Okay. Maybe I really do need that foresight, need to know what the fuck's going on, who all these people are. Like, I'm assuming they're all, like, artists in the place, and it makes sense to me, like, yeah, a lot of these people are going to be pretty young. So, what is this? Is he going, like, after the predators or, like, the predator victims? It sounds like I'll speed this up.
This girl and the whole self-harm stuff.
Interview starts.
I don't really understand why we're expected to give sympathy for you when you're saying that you were manipulated by a 25-year-old who, you know, lives in a different country, but we can't have sympathy for Kumo, who was pretty young.
So not a minor.
Number one, there's a vast difference between what happened there and what happened here. Kumo issue is that, number one, have you seen the actual clip in its entirety?
I've seen the explanation of the clip, and I've seen the clip, yeah. So, but I've seen the full explanation.
You noticed that he was giddy. So did you not notice that he was giddy the entire time? That he took enjoyment out of it?
Yeah, but I think that when you know the context behind it, I mean, it was stupid, right? But I don't think he stands by that now, right? I don't think he stands by that now.
He wouldn't make. If he didn't stand by it now, he wouldn't be making.
Okay, I gotta figure this out. Okay. Let's see. Are my windows all still good? Kumo, you. LioConvoy sucks. Sin versus Kumo. Kumo is wrong about a large number of things. Kumo drama stream. So this person's like another Artsberg or whatever. And I'm guessing this is the person who was like 10 years younger than him. Oh god, what are these names and thumbnails though? What is this? Maybe Kumo's cool. I don't really know much about him. The big pussycat getting cornered by Stardust live. Come say hi. I am in the chat. Oh, so Kumo was like live for this as it was going down. Okay.
Making jokes about it and having people repeat the process, except instead of cutting, making a joke of it using ketchup or lipstick on social media, which is also something I pointed out in the video. The difference here is, number one, I'm not lying about my actions. I do take responsibility for what I have done, regardless of the manipulation, which is something I also stated, that the actions are still mine. Kumo has had a pathological habit of lying about things, which is why he cut down his initial video about it from 23 minutes to 9 minutes.
I think that you can say that he was giddy about that, but then I would...
Goddamn, I have to slow it down because Leo's actually like talking pretty quickly and I want to catch like all this, but then as soon as Stardust starts talking, it slows right back down again.
Giddy in the Rosa call, and so was Peaches. So were multiple other people in that Rosa call.
Oh no, the Rosa call had nothing to do with Peaches manipulating me. I was just a dickhead, and I own that. That's why I said that their actions are mine.
I don't think Kumo doesn't own his past. I think part of that is he was a kid.
I did see something about like or some sort of drama between this guy and this Rosa. Well, I say, like, there might have been like a legal thing or something, but I don't know anything about these weirdos, so. But, God, our community can be so unhinged in this platform, like, it's just crazy.
His girlfriend had like a fetish for that, and you know, he's owned up to it, and he's moved past it. So I don't understand why. Again, we've got one mistake here from Kumo when I believe he was like a teenager still at that point, and we've got multiple mistakes of you being manipulated by multiple people.
And I just explained to you the difference. If you think Kumo's moving past it by continuing to make a joke out of it and continuing to find it humorous,
some people do make jokes. That's how they move on from things.
So you think him making jokes about self-harm is fine in this context?
I personally don't give a. I'm not somebody who, like, I'm not somebody who really cares about that stuff. The only reason I care is when there's like hypocrisy, right? If you are claiming to have like the moral high ground, in comparison to everybody around you, and then your actions are showing that you don't have the moral high ground, that you're not trying to even be on the moral high ground, then that's where I have a problem. So, like, for example, with the Rosa call, you apologized for being ableist, but that's about it. You didn't apologize for calling her a hole. You didn't apologize for calling her a whore. You didn't apologize for threatening to call her mom. You didn't apologize for, knowing beforehand that she had all of these conditions and still continuing to let people call her retarded and letting people, berate her.
So why did he do this? Why did he go after this person? Like, what the fuck? Maybe we'll get some answers.
I didn't break everything down into individuality, but I literally said that what happened in that call is my responsibility because I let people do it.
And then, but here's the thing. You demanded a specific apology from Rosa in that call. You said, oh, what are you sorry for, Rosa? Tell us exactly what you're sorry for. Why should I accept your apology for ableism, which is not even the beginning of what you did in that call? And when you have gone so far in Rosa in that call, to demand a specific apology from her.
You don't have to.
Okay, so here's the thing. You don't look like you're sorry for any of that, for calling her a hole, for any of those things. I
literally listed that the actions in that call were horrific.
You said that they were horrific, and then you specifically apologized.
I'm asking you directly. Go ahead.
You specifically apologized for the ableism. You said, yes, the call was horrible, and I'm sorry for, whatever the ableism. I did not hear you apologize for the sexism. I did not hear you apologize for calling her a whore, for threatening her and calling her parents, and knowing that she had all these issues going on, and still letting other people treat her this way.
Here, let me pull up the script. Just give me a moment. We're up with that thing.
Okay.
And I will remind you, Rosa
He's
said,
going to go
sorry
into it, this sounds like.
this situation, and you all were hounding
like,
her.
I don't even know what I'm listening to at this point.
Also, I would say probably the Senate themselves deserves an apology for lying by omission, because you knew of Rosa's problem, and you didn't disclose that to anybody.
Let me see.
Okay.
I actually did admit in the script.
I think I saw that, like, Senate's, like, his podcast or whatever. Like, I was confused at first. Like, I was thinking he was going to court or something. But it's more gay than that.
And in the video that I knew that Rosa was on the spectrum.
Okay, but did you apologize for calling her a slut hole? That's not what I'm asking, right? You admit to it. Do you feel sorry for it?
You ask if I gave... Well, of course I feel sorry for it. Why in the world wouldn't I?
You didn't say so. You hounded Rosa for a very specific apology, even though she was giving the best that she could at that time. You didn't apologize for calling her a hole. You didn't apologize for calling her a whore. You didn't apologize for calling her all, emotional. Well, actually, no. You did apologize for that with the.
Although I will be honest, like, I don't believe like anybody's like ever entitled to an apology. It'd be nice. Like, if somebody does an asshole thing like that, like, they should apologize. But I also don't believe, like, if they stand by all those things, they mean it. Like, he meant all of that, and still stands by it. Apology is meaningless. Like, in my opinion. See, this is one of my bugbears I actually really hate. Like, I really fucking hate forced apologies. So, I don't know what the history is between these people. It seems like a commentary. Everybody's kind of giving him grief about that particular drama, so I assume he was just being a, like, fucking turd. But who knows?
There's like a, telling her to remove herself from the census. Like, these are things that I think are deserving of an apology.
Wait, what?
And that's probably fair. If you think that it should have been more broken down into specificity, I can 100% understand where your value would come from on there, and I probably should have thought about that during all that.
I just think that, given how much people were hounding her, especially, Endo was hounding her, right? And don't get me wrong, I have a little bit more sympathy for people who are under 18, but they were 17, and they were still complicit in a lot of Nekopon's actions.
Who was complicit?
And Endo, the person who you all said
Endo?
was the victim, yeah.
Yeah, Endo was groomed by Nekopon. I don't think Endo responsible for anything.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere, so... Wait, so one of these people was grooming the other. No, they were 17. That's still a minor. Okay.
I looked at their video. I don't know if you've seen their video. They have not mentioned grooming at all in that video. They mentioned
video?
Yeah, they mentioned being complicit in a lot of Nekopon's actions.
I think I'd have to go look at it, because I wasn't even aware Endo made a video.
Yeah, Endo made a video.
Mendo's the only one who brought that up to me.
Yeah, the video does not talking about being
Apologize
groomed.
for the cough.
It talks about they had a crush on somebody that Nekopon was having a weird relationship with that was probably inappropriate, but they themselves did not have a relationship with Nekopon in that manner. In fact, they were implicit.
Contrary to what I've been told.
Implicit in a lot of the bad things that Nekopon did to other people. They admit as much in that video.
Can you shoot me a link to it, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe I can shoot that to you after, because I don't want to distract from the questions too much. I guess like.
Oh no, we're not going to go through the video.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get a link to it. If you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah. I had to search for it honestly. Let's see.
Sure.
All right. So how often do you personally investigate things yourself that people are claiming to you?
This type of stuff right now is something that we're still in the middle of. There's a lot of data to parse through, which is why it's taken so long to do much about it other than confronting a few people that were persons of interest here.
Whoa.
So it's something we're...
Whoa. Dude, you're not the cops. You're not a detective. Like, what is your network for doing this, and what are your sources? Because this actually sounds like a lot shittier and stupider than, like, a Mama Max. Like, he's just like, oh yeah, it'd be a good idea to go after the... Like, I know this person's grooming this other person, and I'm just going to try and deal with it myself.
Still currently looking into. But this is something that I've been told repeatedly.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like a lot of hearsay. And one problem that I have with the art commentary
You don't
community
say.
as a whole, and slideshow commentary, and just this general space, is there are a lot of claims that are being made that aren't backed up with documentation. And that's not to say that you need documentation for every single claim. I think if there's a claim that is being verified by multiple, like, first-hand witnesses, I think that that's certainly enough for you to say definitively that something happened.
Oh, I know she's trying to be gentle with him, but come the fuck on. Like, if you don't have, like, some sort of receipts, like, some sort of evidence going to this, like, even, like, screenshots of, like, chat logs or DMs, something even like that, you got nothing. Like, the Xena and Poppy shit, there's, like, this whole massive doc, and sure, a lot of the stuff in the doc's garbage, but it's still... like a lot of shit, like first-hand shit from people involved. You gotta have something, otherwise you're just boxing at shadows.
But there's like a lot of things within this community I feel like need to be backed up with more evidence. But it seems like, especially with the Endo thing, you're saying that that's still ongoing. But Nekopon and Endo, that happened years ago. I don't understand how that's still ongoing, and you are relying upon hearsay with Endo.
It's ongoing because, again, we're still gathering data about it. There's tons of stuff that you don't, obviously not aware of. There's calls we're parsing through, there's DMs, there's exports of logs and server logs. There's a lot to this that is outside of the scope of what this video could even possibly go on to.
Okay. So then you are saying that you do have, like, concrete evidence then?
Yes. I can't really bring it out in the moment because I didn't know this is something we were going to be discussing right now, and those are somewhere in the archives of the old server, so it will take me some time to even find them.
Okay. Fair enough. So back to the Rosa call, and the reason why I brought this up is because...
Okay, if you also, I'm gonna say, if you're doing this kind of shit, like, it's fine to have, like, archives. I don't know if he means, like, the files themselves are archived or whatever, but this is another bugbear of mine, kind of lesser than, like, forced apologies, I'd say, but you ought to make folders within folders, people, like... I'll show you something right now. So, here's my streaming stuff folder. Now, I've, like, literally just started streaming, so there's not a lot of shit in here. But I already have in here, like, here's all the files for my reactive, like, my PNG character, my PNG tuber. So if I open one of these, oh, why does it go up there? Come back down here. Come back here. I just want to show you to the audience. See, we got two of me. I'm in two places at once. Woo! Woo! All right. Okay, I'm gonna murder my evil twin. Actually, I think that's the good twin. I'm the evil one. I've always been evil. Like, I literally had sort of minor drama. It seems like getting to in person, it's like, oh, you're a terrible person. I'm like, yeah, tell me some shit I don't know. Fuck that. Anyway, that's in one folder there. Now, the other folder I have right now is the thumbnails. Now, again, I don't have a lot of examples to show you, but my thumbnails I do have, so this one is stream 240510, which is today's date, going year, month, day. Now, we do year, month, day. The nice thing is that it's organized in order of, like, when you did it, so, like, earliest to latest, when they're alphabetical, so that's why we want to do it that way. Anyway, you don't have to follow my methods or do any of that sort of shit. My only point is, especially when you're, like, trying to collect information on, like, actual criminals and shit like that, you need to have a really on-point filing system. Like, be able to grab at exactly what you're looking for, like, on a moment's notice.
Because it's in relation to the Rosa call, right? And we'll kind of get into
He might just be bullshitting too, also. That's entirely possible.
The Rosa call in particular, you mentioned you knew that Rosa was disabled, and you mentioned that she had a handler. I guess my question to you would be, like, that you mean like a guardian or a custodian, right?
Yeah, I've been informed since then that that's apparently a derogatory term. I wasn't aware of that, so that I do apologize for.
Oh,
but yes,
that's
that
fine.
is what is meant by
handler is derogatory?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they have a guardian or custodian. So you know legally, like, if somebody has a guardian or custodian, that in a lot of states means that they can't own a gun, they can't gamble, they can't make major purchases, right?
Well, actually, no, because I've had other people that are friends of mine that have been on the spectrum, which is what I knew about Rosa. They've been on the spectrum that they have seizures. Excuse me. And they have guardians over them and whatnot, and they're still able to make tons of decisions. They still have full cognition. They're able to make a lot of decisions. One example of that would be Misanthropony. His mother's in complete, guardianship over him, and she's
I don't have, I'm not under guardianship, though. I see.
What I'm discovering later on, because as I've stated in my video, the knowledge of the spectrum, mental health, all that isn't really my strong suit, which is why I've made a lot of changes to how I conduct any of these things, especially when...
Like, if these people, like, have, like, actual guardians and such, no... If he's collecting this information, fine, but shouldn't that, like, totally be going to these people? Like, unless they're the ones that are predating on them, abusing them, like they were basically saying at this point that they don't have, like, the ability to, say, take care of their own legal or day-to-day needs, basically. And so, if you're not going to go to the cops with this, like, try and open an investigation, at very least, like, these people need to know about it. You know, you can't just take authority over their lives and, like try and fix their problems when they're not responsible for themselves. Like, that's all kinds of fucked up. Okay.
Somebody is on the spectrum, not related to predator hunting. I don't do that anymore. But
he doesn't do predator hunting anymore. What? I thought...
Which is part of my problem going into some of these things, not handling it a lot more delicately than I should have.
Sure. I would say that I don't know what Zaid or Misanthropony, I don't know what his situation is, but there are different levels of guardianship. There are different levels of the spectrum as well. And I don't know if Misanthropony like is legally has a custodian. It could be that he has a caretaker. A lot of people have that. He has a caretaker. Does that mean that he legally has a custodian? Is that it? Like,
yes, actually, he does.
Okay. Okay.
He's his mother.
So,
his mother.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, this isn't that bad so far. We're like 23 minutes in. I hear this gets really insane.
So then if they're
we'll
legally
see.
appointed guardians, then, you know, using him, the fact that he can make a YouTube channel is not really the greatest example of agency, right? Because if you have a guardian, right, that still means in a lot of states that you can't make major purchases, you can't gamble, you can't own a gun.
Pete, this guy is psychotic.
As opposed to other things. Sorry, I didn't
sorry?
interrupt.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Like, he hasn't been super psychotic yet. It just kind of sus at the moment. Like, that he's doing like this, like, Mama Max predator hunting, and like already it's like he's not going to the guardians of these people. He's calling them slurs and such behind their back, and he's just like shit at predator hunting. Actually, like, he's apparently got all this stuff archived with like no filing system from what it sounds like, or he's just losing stuff altogether. Like, he seems to have like very sparse like actual concrete evidence, like actual receipts. Like, this is like super irresponsible at the very least. So
pointing towards cognition.
We'll see if it gets crazy.
Sure,
It does get crazy. Okay.
Legally can't own a gun.
Also,
can't make major purchases,
welcome to stream, Keldoge.
Effectively, in the law,
we got a Doge in stream, people. It's really cool. Hold on, I'm gonna shout you out, Kel. I know there is like only a couple people watching this at the moment. I need to have this like on like quick dial or whatever. So anybody, coming in to this later or whatever wants to check you out. Keldoge's friend. PC... Josh, you mean PCA or PCN? Also, is this going to be a recurring thing? Like, I know you do this in, like, Keldoge's chat. I haven't even ever covered Peter Coffin on here, so...
They are, like, a minor, right?
I never thought about it from that perspective.
They have to, legal
I never thought of that.
Checks, there's a whole bunch of things that...
Okay, I gotta go back.
In the law, they are, like, a minor, right?
I never thought about it from that perspective.
They have to, legal...
Was there an edit there? It looked like there was an edit there, but, like... It's exactly what I'm saying, that legally... They don't have legal responsibility over themselves. He doesn't have legal responsibility over them. If he's gonna do this at all, he has to go to their guardians, like, legally. Because even if he, like, called the cops on them or whatever, or, like, they're the ones being predated upon, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know the exact letter of the law around this, but can you get, like, in serious trouble, like, trying to act on somebody's behalf without the okay of their guardian? Like, even just trying to get, like, legal documents done or whatever, they have to have that guardian present for a signature, so...
Legal guardians have to co-sign checks.
Have to co-sign the checks? Have to co-sign everything, basically.
Legal custodians can't do. So I think to hold them to a neurotypical standard is not right.
You're 100% correct on that.
She's saying exactly what I was trying to get at, so...
Okay, well, here's the thing. You, in your video...
I just never thought of that, guys! I never thought... Just this gaping hole in my devious plans of predator hunting here. That, these people might not have autonomy over themselves because they're fucking minors.
While you do apologize at times for, like, the Rosa call, you still double down and say Rosa is a liar, Rosa doesn't take any accountability, Rosa doesn't apologize, right? Here's the thing. If someone who legally has no agency is saying that they can't apologize because of demons in their head telling them things, do you really think that they have enough agency to kick someone from a Discord server where the server owner didn't want that person kicked?
Well, in the case of that, obviously my position on that is different than it was then. My issue at this point comes down to if Rosa is able, or anybody in that position, specifically that headspace, is able to identify that something's wrong, and is able to identify they shouldn't be in a space with somebody, they should be able to remove themselves. Because I've seen people like Rosa do.
What? Except, like, if somebody, like, if the Guardian, for example, is an abuser, and they have both custodial and, like, soft power over the person, that's totally not going to be possible. What the fuck are you talking about? And I know for certain, just my own experiences, like, somebody can be able to say, yes, I want to buy a hamburger, and, like, get themselves McDonald's when they're hungry, and still, like, not be able to take care of themselves in, like, a legal fashion. Like, again, I don't know the letter on the law here, but it seems super irresponsible, so we're already getting some bad vibes here.
Angie, to where Rosa was able to find Angie's parents and able to try a harassment campaign. This is where I'm struggling when it comes down to this, because if Rosa's capable of identifying and targeting somebody, I don't know why they couldn't remove themselves from the situation or get a hold of somebody else, because they clearly have no problem reaching out to other people to try to get them to cover other people's topics.
There were screenshots of Rosa reaching out to Star Giant, or Rebecca, whatever her name is, and asking Rebecca about this person. So it's there. It's not like Rosa didn't reach out. Rosa did reach out, and Star Giant said, well, you know, that's not really an issue right now, etc., etc. And you know that legally this person doesn't have agency. Legally, they are basically a minor, and they're going to be for the rest of their lives. I don't think it's fair to hold them to that standard. And, you know, the very fact that she's talking about voices in her head saying that they're going to hurt her family, like, this person is not mentally well. There's more responsibility on the server owner for even making that person a mod in the first place.
I agree with that. 100%.
Wait, she was a mod in the server? Like, that's a... man...
%.
And so, you know, Rosa knowing how to be a crazy person harassing somebody online doesn't mean that she knows right from wrong. It doesn't mean that she
so
is effective in her agency.
Wait, so was that this Rosa, this person who is legally a minor, who has guardianship, and is also on the spectrum, like can't look after themselves, is the abuser in this situation then, and they are also like a mod in somebody's server or whatever, then legal responsibility, whatever responsibility you have, you absolutely have to take it up with their guardian. Like, they might not even know what they're doing. It doesn't sound like this guy knows what he's doing.
I 100% agree with the not knowing right from wrong, because even if we're not talking from a moral aspect, there's obviously something in Rosa's mind that can delineate the difference between something she enjoys and something she doesn't. This is where I'm getting lost in this, because how can we sit here and say that Rosa can make all these cognitive, consistent decisions, but also say that well, they're not capable of making the right decisions?
I need to stop opening up tabs on this one, sorry.
I don't think she can make cognitive, I don't think she can make consistent cognitive,
just
decisions.
Gonna look
I
up,
think that this is somebody who's very mentally unwell. I never would hold a standard for them. I don't think they should have been a moderator in that server in the first place. And I don't think just because you can tell the difference between when you enjoy something versus when you don't enjoy something, that means you're good at determining right versus wrong. Somebody might enjoy somebody. That doesn't mean that it's right?
Well, let me rephrase myself then. She knows enough to know that lying is wrong, which is why she was obsessed with Agent Angie, or Lovely Lena. That's why she tried to harass her.
Let's see, Queensboro, I hate the
child predator is.
I hate the font here. Look at what I'm trying to deal with.
I don't know that you have the knowledge of what she knows. I don't know that you have the ability to say that.
So, I actually followed for a long time, like, podcasts that's like a... 546 or whatever, like 357 pages will never get back again, which is like Mike Nelson from Mystery Science Theater fame and his friend, his writer. Anyway, they get together and like read like terrible books mostly and like go through them like chapter by chapter. It's like, no... Why you say, no, the book club of books, no, you expect to hate, and one of their books was like self-published in this kind of look, and they described this as like Times New Manifesto. And, yeah, this is like copyright 2000, like, wow, this is an old web page too. Like, it's just unreadable. Try again.
is about as credible as a minor. There's no way for anybody to correctly evaluate that.
She literally said in her text that the reason why she's mad is because Lovely Lena's a liar.
Okay,
that's not me saying it, that's her saying it.
Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't mean that she is going to be consistent anywhere else, like in her thought process.
Consistent? No, my point is that she does at least have some basic understanding of right and wrong. That's what I was getting at.
Okay, but she's like literally, okay, I'm just gonna be blunt. You know, she's literally mentally retarded. Like, I don't know, like, that is not somebody that I'm looking
like the
to
most,
be responsible, especially when I look at Endo. Endo is clearly way more cognitively, present and able to process things than Rosa is.
So is your argument ultimately, and correct me if I'm wrong here, do you think that Rosa has no culpability for anything, or that should just go to parents?
I think that Rosa can be a crazy person who's an asshole who probably shouldn't be on the internet, but I think expecting her to understand exactly what she's doing wrong, especially with this guilt by association.
So I don't know what this particular person's website, this Jamie's, let's see, contact Jamie Heidel, what their credentials are, but articulate autism, so you don't know right from wrong, so what, I don't know pronouns, what they're saying, something of X might ask, and it's stuck many years. Me, the yes meant I don't know when I have done or said something in the context of social interaction that was considered wrong by neurotypical standards. Never know right from wrong, but I never really understood the different distinction between the two until recently. Did understand the distinction, I didn't have the words to explain it. Most autistic people are highly morally aware. I mean, even among, like, what we call neurotypical people, it gets, there's, like, the whole field of, like, ethics. It gets really complicated. And what do you use as your standard of ethics? I'm all about, like, harm reduction myself. Like, I don't need, like, a God's law for me to be able to define morality. Behaving badly is using autism an excuse. Like, articles I'm seeing on this says this is kind of up on the air, that, sort of case-by-case thing, that it's entirely possible that the person involved, this Rosa, doesn't know right from wrong. But we have no way of knowing that. We probably never will. We don't know the person. All we have is like a LioConvoy's hearsay on this. So I don't think Stardust is like no master class debater or anything, but this is like full on like recusal. Like, how can he? He's like, well, I just think that she would know. Right, keep going. It's definitely getting worse.
By itself is a very flimsy argument. I think I don't think that's a reasonable standard. Because the guilt by association, you're saying like, oh, she had the ability to leave that server. Well, you have been friends or associated with people who were pretty problematic themselves, right? Before you knew they were.
Well, if it's before I knew they were, then that doesn't hold weight either.
I don't know if there's a pattern.
I don't know where.
Here's the thing: if there's a pattern of you being friendly with or being associated with people who end up being creepy or being weird, I think that there's an issue there. I don't think any culpability from Rosa.
Or is that just an assumption? Okay, then that's...
Well, this is something I have noticed, especially with people who, again, I don't think it's necessarily they can't tell right from wrong, but no, have a hard time picking out good people from bad people. And they will have a tendency to be more likely to associate with people who are bad people, who are predatory, without being able to realize this. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, people, like, on the spectrum, like, typically we have, like, much worse, like, social acuity, like, social understanding. So this is extremely common, it's extremely easy trap to fall into. No, that somebody is just nice or whatever in their initial impressions, but they're doing that for manipulative ends or whatever. And it could be really difficult to be able to tell that, even if it's obvious through like context of the like the way they speak or whatever it is. Like, other people might be able to tell, but if you're just looking at super literally, and then it becomes a repeated pattern because the other thing we have to remember is like predator behavior. Predators are always, not always, but usually going to go for the target that they think they can get away with, right? The target that is easy for them. Like, that they know that they can, confuse, that they can befuddle, that they can gaslight and control without them catching on and calling them out for it. That's unfortunate standard behavior for these people, so...
It's your statement, and that's fine. There's this concept that happens within a lot of social circles, especially on the internet, called troll shielding. And when you're doing predator hunting, there's going to be creeps that are going to get into the inner circle because they think they're safe there. This is not something just I've dealt with, but multiple other people. Even people who don't cover predation, just people who cover other people who do, or people who...
Well, I mean, fancy that a lot of the people in the predator hunting, and they might not even be shielding themselves necessarily, I'm thinking. I mean, maybe that's the reason they do it. But a lot of people involved in the community are actually predators themselves. Go figure. And then in case, like, yeah, all of your discourse is poison, especially if they're the ones doling out the information for you. And how do you screen them? No, do people in your Discord doing this have to go through a police background check? Like, that's actually a really easy thing to do, and it seems like none of these online people either know about or do that or require that. Like, I've been in multiple volunteering positions, okay? Like, every one of those, it sucked, but I had to go to the local police constituency, get them to pull out my criminal record, do a criminal record check, make sure I was clean, before I was allowed to have any involvement as a volunteer.
We just talk about it, who will wind up in these servers and getting close to people to try to cover their own nonsense. That isn't something I could magically see through, or you, or anybody else, until something actually comes to light. So unless you're able to magically scope out whether or not somebody's doing something behind the scenes, I don't think
there have been multiple predators in his community. I mean, I'm not surprised. But then he's saying, oh, I haven't had to deal with this myself. But if that's true, it's clearly wrong. Like, and how do you tell? Like, unless you have evidence of them engaging in predatory behavior, or if you do something like the criminal background check thing, and it comes out that they do have a history, like, with the law as a predator, as a sex offender, how do you know? And how do you know to trust these people? I need more than that.
They're reasonable.
Okay, again, you are holding Rosa to a standard where she needs to disconnect from the server when she has brought the complaint to the server owner.
Josh Kiss says, the background check like parents have to chaperone a school trip or event. Exactly! What I'm saying is that there's less security over this guy's Discord, over this guy's circle of predator hunters, his pedo hunters here, with the art community, with a community full of minors and vulnerable people, than your average school field trip. I'm just spitting facts here. Like, that is how it is. And, like, none of these online people are able to get those standards. I mean, again, he's going through this like he wants to be his own, like, a private eye, like Gumshoe on this shit, right? But we shot that a little bit with the spoiler at the start. He has, like, no credentials to do so, and it doesn't seem like anybody else under him does. I mean, it's the same shit with, like, Mama Max and such. Like, it's not that what these people are doing is necessarily wrong. Just They don't know exactly what they're doing. And this is something where mistakes can lead to abuse. You could be leading predators to their prey. Mistakes are going to get people hurt. You are not the cops. You're not a private detective. I'm not going to say never, expose predators or anything. But if you're going to do this shit, you have to be really careful. Like, I couldn't imagine myself getting into it because you have to be on top of this shit. And, like, this guy's background, right, is he's, like, channel, he talks about Thundercats and Transformers or whatever, like, nerd culture shit. And he's like, I'm seeing a lot of predators in this community. I should go after them. You know what it's like? It's like the fucking Roblox stuff I just looked at. Like, what was the Roblox guy? Why am I already drawing a blank on it? Not Geno Samuel. Geno Samuel's like the Christian doc person. What type of... Ruben Sim. I don't know why those sound familiar. I guess I just think of like Sim and like Samuel being like first names, except for I've never known a person with the first name Sim, so I don't know what I'm fucking on. But it's like the same thing with that like Ruben Sim stuff. Like, what he's doing isn't necessarily wrong. He just has no credentials, no idea what he's doing. Like, Ruben Sim is like going after like furries in general, just like as a group, because there have been people that he's exposed who have been predators in Roblox who also happen to be furries. So, by the laws of correlation equaling causation, all furries must be predators. He misread a study on it conducted by furry psychologists themselves. I went over the damn study. It didn't say what he said it said. Go figure. Internet people not knowing how to read studies. He just went to the first table statistics, said, 98% of only men who responded to this said they had viewed furry porn at one time or another, which means all furries degenerate, all degenerates, pedos, furries in Roblox are all adults predating on children. It's like insane troll logic. Not good. And this sounds like this is like just as bad. Like,
that they were handling it.
I'm fucking losing it.
She did her job. She communicated that to the server owner, and the server owner said, "Look, you don't need to worry about that right now. That's not
furry
issue."
psychologist.
Server owner, you guys were.
I might go back to the thing because like that's actually not a bad resource page. Like, I'm not a furry myself. I'm not in with that community, but they have like a lot of like resource on it, and it's like the people writing articles for that like are like PhDs, like actual like doctors of psychology who are part of the furry community, and that's like their called anthrozoology, which is, that there's a weird term. I'm getting totally into the weeds here, but I don't know, I find this more fascinating than this particular retard. Anthrozoology. So this is an actual thing, the study of interactions and relationship between human and non-human animals. Which can cover things like, patent owner, like, relationships, but also things like, people who pretend to be animals or think they are animals, so like furry fandom, all that sort of thing. You get a degree in anthrozoology from Harvard University, it looks like. So yeah, it's a real thing. It's actually real interesting. I'll probably come back to that at some point.
Far more crazy.
This isn't going to turn into a furry stream, though.
Coyote Lovely is one, right?
Yeah. Did we know what Coyote was doing?
Did Rosa know any of Star Giant's history?
Yeah, that's why they became friends. Did you listen to the first Rosa call?
Your Kepler just came into the bedroom to hiss at the AC unit.
Wait.
My cat's like asleep on the couch right now.
They can say that all they want, but I did not know Coyote was sitting
It's
there having
warm,
actual
so she's just like chilling out like wherever is cool. She can't have my desk chair right now, which is where she normally would.
All you want, but unless they actually have evidence that I did, I don't want to hear it from them.
Well, didn't you know that at the very least, people were... So Coyote Lovely was involved in this thing where he was associated with somebody else who was sending minors to known child predators for like 8 months. And he knew for 8 months that was happening.
Hold on, what?
Wait.
Are you run that by me again?
Yes, there's evidence
Coyote
that he
Lovely
knew for
character
8
from
months
Archer. Why do these people all make it hard?
Was putting children in danger, essentially.
No, I knew that Zerkalo asked an inappropriate question and tried to play pretend that they didn't know what the problem was, putting that out to an audience that had minors in it. That's what I knew about Zerkalo. That's
what I was thinking. So, this Coyote Lovely looks like they're another predator hunter who's also a furry, and specifically like predator hunting in the furry community. Again, like no credentials or anything on this. Just, of course he'd have a Telegram channel. I swear, Telegram's like all Nazis and furries from what I've seen. Like, just what I've heard. Some of these I know. Like, I actually know about like the Caro the Wolf shit. Like that's fucking disgusting. Don't want to go into that. But on indefinite hiatus. When's the last video? 1 year ago. So is this guy a predator himself? Did he get in trouble? I don't want to falsely accuse anybody. But like, what is the thing with Oops, you're not supposed to see me twice.
Try to figure out what else may be legitimate. And it got sidetracked because Coyote kept running defense, and I started getting pissed because of all the stupid inside nonsense. That's not the same as knowing somebody's entire history. That's asinine.
How long did you know these people?
And it's also been talked about to death. Which one, Zerkalo or Coyote?
Both of them.
Didn't know Zerkalo at all. That's the one time I've talked to Zerkalo was in that cult. Coyote I knew for a few years.
Okay, so for a few years, you knew Coyote. Coyote is now no longer somebody you're associated with. Why is that?
Correct. Because Coyote got caught doing horrific things behind the scenes.
And also was associated with Zerkalo, right? Or Zerkalo.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I'll take that back. Apparently he is no predatory shithead. No wonder his channel's been on an indefinite hiatus for the last year. No, it's fucking over. It's so Jover, dude. God damn. It's like no accountability with these people. Like, just go after the biggest known targets and let everything else slip through, right? They claim to be trying to protect children, do safety for children, but the way it's being done is irresponsible, and if anything, is actually making the situation worse for those. And we're talking about minors who have no legal or personal autonomy over themselves. Like, no. LioConvoy won those debates. Seriously, very embarrassing for Stardust. Very embarrassing for you to not see it. Well, I mean, we're going through it. I'm just saying that this guy is kind of weird, irresponsible. I mean, R.I.P. Like, Stardust, I don't feel like it's doing a strong enough job, like, pushing back on him. But then, this seems to be, like, the Stardust formula, like, just, like, keep them talking, because, yeah, I have a feeling, like, if you actually, like, tried to, like, debate bro this shit, or actually, like, tried to get, like, a commentary jabs on this guy, he'd probably just run. That's my take, but I don't know.
And,
they were roommates at one point.
Let's go. We're still like only half an hour into like 3-hour video.
You put again. All I'm saying is you put.
Apparently, this gets like really cringe.
You didn't know. Again, this person, Rosa, is somebody who can't own a gun, can't gamble, can't make major purchases, and you're thinking that she's going to cognitively put all of the lore of Star Giant in her head and know that she needs to disconnect from the server?
All of it? No, but my point is with Rosa, and I pointed this out before, it's not just going to Star Giant. Rosa's gone to plenty of other people about far more minor things. Rosa knows what a child predator is. Rosa knows all of that.
Does she know what a child predator is?
I'm putting...
Because it seems like a lot of you guys don't realize what a child predator is.
You can know what something is and still fall victim to it.
I have not seen any.
Like, I know what scam artists are. And that doesn't mean I'll never get swindled in the future. Like, I hope I don't. I'm hoping that, no, I'm not, like, following people who are, like, scamming me currently. I don't think I am. But you can know something and still fall victim to it, right? Those two aren't mutually exclusive.
Anything in their video where they talk about being groomed by this person.
Yeah, and like I told you, there's other things that are not made public right now. Sitting here saying I don't know what a child predator is because specifically Indo, I think is kind of far-reached, honestly. Do you have any other examples of me not knowing what a child predator is?
No, I mean, we can get into that a bit. I do want to focus a little bit more on Rosa, and then we can get into specifically the predator hunting stuff. But you're saying that you are assuming that you understand Rosa's state of mind. I don't think you know her that well to know that.
But you do?
I mean, I think that I know it a little bit better than you do, knowing the information that's out there. That she has seizures as a result of stress.
Possibly.
Like,
wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how anybody can sit in that call and listen to the way that she talks and know that she has brain damage and continue to let people go in on her like that. And then to threaten to call her parents of that.
Where'd the claim of brain damage come from? Because I keep hearing that, and that was not...
She has seizures. Like, this doesn't mean, like, she was hit by a car or got lobotomy or anything, but, like, technically that is brain damage, right? And, like, if I understand right, it's, like, sort of like people who have strokes, it's actually causing damage to your brain, even if it's just, like, a little bit, like... it's not... No, typical brain function.
Has said that she has brain damage because of seizures. She has memory issues because of seizures.
Okay, so start saying exactly what I was saying.
On one hand, you
memory
say that Rosa is crazy, but on the other hand, you take what she says at face value.
When it comes to her illness, absolutely, because it's believable, because she's talking, like you said, she's talking about demons in her head, telling her she can't apologize because her family's gonna die.
Stardust. We're reaching here. We don't know that.
Of course she has mental issues. It's very clear. You listen to the way that...
But you're already saying that she talks about seeing demons, that she has mental issues, so I'm going to have to give a point to Leo here, because we can't trust anything she says. That's why it's important to go through the Guardian and these kind of things, like... Because she could be making the seizure thing up. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about her. I don't really know who she is. I feel like it's sort of like the Xena with the migraines. Oh no, every time situation comes up, no, I have this, like... It doesn't even really matter to this debate, right? Like, Rosa shouldn't even be in the equation. Like, she's just like a third party who's being... part of the predator-prey cycle. Like, this should be between, like, Leo, or, better yet, the police and her guardian. And I'm sorry if I'm getting pronouns wrong. I don't know all these people's pronouns. I'm assuming. Don't sue me. I am not a transphobe. Far from it.
And I don't know how you can listen to the way that she speaks and not assume that she has some serious mental issues.
Okay. I just find it odd that you're sitting here saying I have a double standard, which that might very well be true. We can get into that later. But you're claiming that you know more about her mental status. You know whether she's lying or not.
I don't know if she's lying or not. I'm saying that it doesn't matter if she's lying or not, because she's basically effectively a minor legally.
So it doesn't matter if she's lying, but it matters what she says?
I do know Stardust does this a lot. Like, somebody will tell her something, and she'll just, like, run with it until she gets different information. Whatever.
You're claiming I knew about the brain damage. I didn't.
Well, you knew enough. And she tried to tell you all multiple times that she does get seizures.
But he says he knew about the seizures thing. Like, he doesn't believe it. Like, he doubts the veracity of her claims, but he did know about it. What is going on? It's just like...
Seizures are known to give people brain damage. It's not that hard.
Actually, no, I did not know that seizures give people brain damage, because I didn't even find out till a few weeks ago that seizures can be triggered specifically by stress. I've had one incident dealing with somebody who had seizures and wasn't triggered by stress. What these medical maladies can cause.
How quick is
a group I ran? It's actually not a volunteer position. It was actually a job that I got paid for. But one of our directors, like, he didn't get to, like, like his own like guardianship and us until like he was well into his 20s, because like he had to live in the hospital like with serious seizures, and I think, might be wrong about this, they did like a electroshock therapy on him like over the time, like, so he still gets them, but it's like better, like it's not like he's actually able to go out and do things, which is great for him to get his life, like get his, I'm not even back, but like that medicine that we can actually make life like worth living for some people. Anyway, medicine is based, cool doctors, except for when they're doing like malpractice and such. We don't like that very much.
Time I dealt with somebody with a seizure, he had it in the middle of sleeping.
How quick is a Google search? How quick is a Google search?
I imagine it could be pretty quick, but why in the world would I think of that?
I think, okay, I don't know how anybody can enter a call with Rosa and not know immediately that she is not all there. You knew, not only did you have the context of some of her medical issues and that she had a custodian, you also knew that she thought that there were demons in her head or whatever. She was hearing voices.
That was later on. That was not something that we knew during the call. As I stated, that happened after the call.
Okay. You still knew she had a custodian, and legally she can't make major purchases. Legally she can't gamble. Legally she can't own a gun.
Well, I didn't know to that extent about what she could or could not do legally. I just knew that she had a caretaker.
So, yeah, and, you know, her mentioning that she has seizures, it's a very quick Google search to find out what seizures can do to somebody. She said that she had memory issues because of the seizures. So, and I just don't know why you didn't disclose to people. Why didn't you stop Coyote Lovely from calling her retarded to her face when that was happening? Why didn't you're like the father figure of Peaches, why didn't you step in there and say, hey, we're getting a little bit...
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, so this guy considers himself like a father figure to hopeless Peaches? Oh... And here's the thing. People have given Tipster shit for making like sexist jokes or remarks at Hopeless Peaches. Like at Hopeless Peaches' expense. From what I understand. And this guy's here like, I'm Hopeless Peaches' daddy from another mother. And she's like psycho too. What is with all these like art community spurts?
I can't sit there and tell you where exactly my headspace was 100%.
Discord children all over again. It's so bad.
So look, my point at the end of the day is like, she's a vulnerable adult with a caretaker. She is effectively a minor legally, and you allowed that, and I think it's like grossly inappropriate.
Unquestionably.
And you were, honestly.
And I'll be honest, Keldoge.
Peaches had been talking.
She's nice enough and such, and she's being fairly pleasant to him in this conversation. I do kind of wish that somebody else was having go at him besides Stardust here. Like, I know Matt Pitt covered this like a couple months ago, and like, I understand why they wouldn't talk. Like, he could be not nice, but like, because this... Like, we need to, like, nail this guy in, like, put him in the Iron Maiden, put in the thumb screws, get out like the hot brands. Like, we got fire up the medieval torture chamber. Like, that's how Elfkind do it. Get out the cat o' nine tails. Get some nice thumb screws. There's a wonderful mechanism they call the boot, like goes around your foot. You like turn the screw and it like squeezes their leg into pulp. Real lovely stuff.
Talking about, I'm sorry, is my mic cutting out, blah blah blah.
Anyway, I don't know.
Is it working? And then
maybe we should bring back like those medieval torture devices for the psychos out there.
I don't know.
And I'm not going to say whether it's for the psychos to use or to use against the psychos, but just for the psychos.
There's no apology for that. Okay, then let me ask you directly then. What do you think a satisfactory apology for that would be?
I think you should hold yourself.
You should take issue with the one I made.
I think you should hold yourself to the standard that you held Rosa to in that call, because you're certainly more capable of meeting that standard than she is. Sure. Okay, so when did...
No. I'm sorry, Stardust, but I already went through this. Like, apology is meaningless if you don't, like, if there isn't actual, like, substance behind it. Like, I do think actions speak louder than words, and anybody can say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, and just be, like, totally gaslighting the person or lying through their teeth. Unless it means something. It's just useless. Josh Kildos, what the whole thing, the Xena and Poppy, the Discord children, like Poppy Diabolic, like has people in her Discord server, like neurodivergent, like people at risk that she has like unofficially adopted as like unofficial children. She calls them her children and interacts with them like as if she were a parent. And it's like reciprocal from what I understand. But they're like not actually her children, like legally, I don't think. It's a whole thing. It's weird to me. Like it's more degen cringe, but we're not here to get into that drama.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to ask, when did the Senate server become more focused on
still got so much of this shit
than like protecting kids or whatever it's meant for?
The server was never meant for predator hunting. That seems to be a misconception everybody has. Because I'm in there, people assume that it was made for predator hunting. It wasn't. It was never made.
Okay, what was it made for?
It was just a hangout server for the most part.
Okay.
Wait, so anybody could hang out there?
Server just turned into like a bullying server then?
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by bullying. The Rosa call was obviously completely wrong. I'm not going to defend that one. There are times that people have come in and they've gotten really stupid and were turned into a joke, but I guess it depends on if that meets your criteria for bullying. So what is your criteria for what you define as bullying?
I think multiple calls where like people are dogging on one person for an extended period of time, I think that counts as bullying. I personally don't give a fuck about bullying, but I think, again, you are somebody who presents yourself as being on a higher moral ground than everyone.
Stardust. Do you hold yourself by the same standard? Because you're a drama streamer. You've done like multiple streams on certain people. You've done multiple streams on Xena and Poppy. Now, like by that broad of a definition, like all commentary is like cyberbullying. Like if you're just dogging and making, and sure, a lot of it's just dogging and making fun of people, sure, but that's definitely not the.
You keep saying that, but when have I ever said something like that?
You
definitely
talk about how you were a predator hunter. You hunt. You do present yourself as somebody who, you talk about it being a man of faith. You're talking about, you have presented yourself, whether you like it or not, as somebody who's on a higher moral ground. You've gone after people for similar things. You've gone after people for. Yes,
I'll be honest. At least I have the crossword, like balance out this brain damage. Like,
give me some examples.
I mean, I think.
See, Rosa's not the one with the brain damage. I'm the one with the brain damage. This debate is giving me brain damage.
If we just look at the Rosa call, I think that's plenty, right?
I told you right now that I 100% do not stand by the Rosa call, so I'm going to ask you again. You say that I have gone after people.
This is just going in circles, like, at this point.
Can you give me some examples?
Sure.
Is this just going to keep being about the Rosa stuff?
Right? I think that constitutes as bullying. There's the kid who came in talking about how he was sexually harassed online.
Go back to 1.5
like a goat fucker or something like that, and threatened to notify the authorities of his sexuality. There is.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about there? A goat humper?
You call him like a animal fucker or something. It was this kid who was who lived in the Middle East.
Oh, that's not number one. It's not a kid. That's not a kid. That was somebody in their 20s that came in and making threats.
Okay,
you think that's bullying, responding to somebody who has threatened you?
I didn't hear threats in that call.
Of course you didn't, because you only have part of the call. You don't have the text.
Okay, what threats were they making?
Oh, I'd have to look at the logs, but essentially threatening to do physical harm to people. He actually, about a year ago, he said that in 40 days he would be at my house and he would kill me.
Okay. You've never made a similar, threat to somebody else? I feel like you have. Like, you've done that to minors. Not even full-grown adults. You've done that to minors. And you threaten this guy like you're going to out his sexuality to the authorities.
They do move on, says Kildosh. Okay. I'll keep at it.
Because of what he is and where he is. So again, I'm going to ask you, do you have any actual examples that you know full context for, or are you just going to take random things out of context without even full knowledge of them? You just got on to me for not doing research, but apparently you didn't do much of it yourself.
I think that the research that I've done is probably more than you've done in a lot of these scenarios. Like, no offense to you.
That's an assumption. Not something you can state factually. You don't know.
Okay. I'm sorry, there are multiple examples out there of you in calls with multiple minors threatening to dox them, threatening to call their parents. That is not right. That's not okay.
Over what? Over what?
Over drawing silly pictures and sending them to each other. Here's the thing, even if this kid, one of the kids I think is actually psycho, right? I'm not disagreeing with you that the kid's psycho. Even if they're psycho, it is not a justification of doxing them and calling their parents.
What is doxing?
It's a gross overstepping.
No, I asked you what doxing is.
Oh, doxing is making public, I know what argument you're gonna make here, okay? So doxing technically is the making public of private information. But I would say collecting somebody's information that is not accessible in one place and putting it in one place and using it to your advantage to.
Yeah, I feel like that's a decent definition. of doxing, because I see a lot of people get this wrong. Like the Zeta and Poppy, like Poppy will do this, right? Where it's like, oh no, you doxed me. You Google searched the publicly available information on who I am. This is doxing, this is horrible. You're not supposed to know that. Like it's on the internet. And I don't mean like on like dark web or anything. Like it's the same thing with like the Erudite thing, where like Erudite was saying that President Sunday had doxed her, but all he did was like look up like her business webpage, which is like a business, so it has her like legal name and address and such. Like, I guess we're not supposed to know that that's linked with not so Erudite, but I mean, I get why she'd be angry about that, but I don't know. It seems like, and then because people want to lump in like that. Keffals doxed a building. Well, Keffals also doxed a trans person of color, right? Because they looked up their like a political campaign or whatever when they ran for like a school board or some shit like that. I don't remember. Like, yeah, Keffals doxed paralegal. No, like from their publicly available business address that you can publicly go to hire out their services. Like, the problem then is we're lumping that in with like the people who are like data mining like private information from people, like your hashes, your like say linking your IP address with your physical location, that kind of shit, like stuff that's not public information, like really sus and creepy shit, because people do that, and it's not the same. It's on. Those are different levels.
Call their parents or threaten to call their parents is still a threat, and it's still weaponizing doxed info.
That's not doxed info if it's public info. And secondly, when a child is going out of line, why is calling a parent somehow beyond the pale?
It's not your responsibility to do that. Ban that person and move on.
So it's not the responsibility.
No, what? Stardust? You're supposed to have owned this guy. That's exactly what I said. That you not only does should he be doing that, but he like has the responsibility to do that. Like, if he goes to the cops without the parents' knowledge or approval, that's gonna look really bad on his part. Like, that should be like the first and only step if you're actually trying to like suss out like minors who are also predators from the community. Like,
give an adult to let a parent know when the child is going off the rail?
An internet stranger?
Would it matter if it was a stranger in public doing it?
Well, I mean, part of the problem is he doesn't even. It sounds like he doesn't even know if they've like actually done shit or not.
So
like,
if a kid's sitting there screeching all sorts of threats in public, then a random stranger who hears these things shouldn't talk to the parent or try to get them.
That's kind of weird.
Your actual public disturbance. That's a public disturbance. Somebody sending you messages or saying mean things on yes, and you've got actually actionable things there that you can do. When it's a stranger on the internet,
but a public server isn't public.
No, it's not. No, not in the same way.
It's not a public server.
It's not a shared public space like a grocery store. Or do you need
to
be a Discord server to function in your daily life? Because you do have to do that with a grocery store.
Well, I mean, I describe it more as like a nightclub than like a supermarket or something. Like, it's still like a publicly available space. Like members of the public, the internet public, can get in there, but there's usually some degree of gatekeeping, like, no, you have to show your ID at the door or whatever. You have to be part of the cool kids club, right? Like, and sometimes, like, Discord, you can have, like, the spicy chat thing or whatever, where you have, like, VIP section of the server or whatever. No, and they only let you in if you're part of the cool kids club already or whatever, but
part of the disconnect here is that you seem to see
still not like a
online and what happens in the regular meet space, and frankly,
like private, like
I think that you are making a huge mistake. You are breaking
like behind locked doors, really.
Rules, one of the biggest unwritten rules, to not dox people when you're doing this thing. When you are threatening children for being stupid online, and you're threatening to call their parents, or you do call their parents, or you call their school I think that is grossly inappropriate. I think you were very clearly overstepping. And if I were a parent, I would think...
Keffals, Leo legit has no clue what he's doing regarding legal shit. I've gotten that. Like, again, he just kind of got into this by happenstance, it sounds like. Like, go rewatch that, fucking, Ruben Sim Roblox thing. It's the same shit. And I don't want to push too hard, but I can almost guarantee you, like, Ruben Sim's either gonna have to figure out his shit, because he's a big creator, like over 1 million subs, and get, like, really technical with his predator hunting, which, who knows, maybe he is, or otherwise he's gonna get into, like, same sort of drama. Like, I'm already seeing, like, drama between, like, him and Blueful, like, and, like, I don't know if Blueful has even done anything, but he's going after people like prominent furries because, oh, the 98% of furries are predators thing that he's going at. And it's insane. And this guy just seems like equally insane to me.
Said when I called them?
What?
That they appreciated it.
Okay. Do they just say that to you because you're a
I'm
weirdo
too
on the internet
spicy
calling
for
them?
spicy
Or do they say,
chat.
like, here's the thing, I don't give a what they say. They
I
can
mean,
say anything, and that's
you know, like Stardust
weird.
here's a band from Spicy Chat. She actually,
Why should I
there was
trust
like
you? Why should I
actually
trust
like
what
an
you're saying about
altar
this? Like, why should I trust
under
you?
like the same name that tried to get in like yesterday. It was pretty funny.
You've been inconsistent as well because you're a human being. Should I not trust anything you
I don't know
say?
what if that was actually Stardust. I don't know why she was like trying to do that way, but it's funny to think that it is. It's funny to go with that.
Record, guilty of being inconsistent on purpose.
Inconsistent on purpose. Something every human being has done, including you.
I think it's a little bit different when you're not trying to hide your true intentions.
I'm not hiding anything. And you're making a claim again that you don't have any evidence for.
I think it's invasive for you to be doxing minors on the internet and calling their parents.
I didn't dox them.
It's incredibly creepy.
That is not doxing.
Okay, fine. Let's not say doxing. I think let's say public information. It's still creepy to go and find somebody's information that's on Facebook, call their parents and or call their school and threaten them with life ruination. It's creepy as a heck, you know? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Keffals, don't spoil my fun, okay? My way is funnier. My way is funnier. Next, you're gonna tell me that like the like trans tipster that's like mod and like a bunch of these commentary spurred communities isn't actually tipster.
This is information that is not meant for you. That you are taking advantage of and you're using.
Oh, I don't know if you know much about like the fake tipsters, but there's like so much of that shit out there.
It's not
like, what is
for
that
you.
even supposed to mean in that context? What do you mean? What does that mean?
You do not personally know this person.
Are not what?
You do not personally know this person.
Personally know me. So how much of your information? Yeah, and how much of my information or things I've done that you know about that weren't for you either? So why is it creepy in my aspect but not yours?
Because you police your community. You claim to be morally higher than everybody else in your community, and you take part in policing it. You take part in policing other content creators. You absolutely do. You do. You absolutely do.
Find me a citation. Find me a citation.
Okay.
You've done the research. Where's your citation on that?
How about this? How have you educated yourself on gathering information
Was that
for
another
child
edit?
predator cases?
Depends on what you mean by educating myself. You want to get into that now?
Yeah.
Because you were talking about earlier how we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. How do you gather your information? Please.
I'm asking, how closely have you worked with a local police department or child safety organization to make sure what you were doing?
Keffals, I do know about that. They're all my alt accounts. Oh, you were throbbing horsecock in actuality. Oh, this is like 4.5D chess. Like, you've just got like everybody dangling by your puppet strings now. Okay.
Actually protects children and doesn't jeopardize any legal investigation.
I forward everything I have to the local PD, and anytime I ask them if I need to change anything I do or alter how I operate, they said everything they have is fine.
Have you done any training through certain organizations like UNICEF or like police departments? There are different trainings for people who actually hunt online predators, right? And report online predators. Yeah. Yes. So have you done any of those?
I didn't know that. That's information. Well, if
yes,
I didn't know
I didn't know that there were other people, like actually accredited organizations, hunting online predators? That's news to me. I could have just Google searched that since I'm making this a thing, but no, that would have been too difficult.
Obviously, I would have done them.
NCMEC is somebody who offers classes and seminars for child safety. It's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So you haven't done any classes in that.
Right, a big one.
You haven't done any classes in that. UNICEF does classes. You haven't done any classes in that. Have you had any education, any formal education in how to properly report these things? and not intervene in anything when it comes to legal investigations.
Intervene in what way? What do you mean?
Not jeopardize any potential legal cases.
That's why I stay in contact, and why I ask them, do I need to do anything differently? If I was doing something horrifically wrong, I'd imagine the cops would have told me by now. But if you want to know how we go about things, I can tell you that.
Okay, you can tell me, but I think I want to point out to the chat, you didn't even know that there was training.
See? If he did it wrong, the cops would tell him. So obviously he's doing it the right way, because the cops would have been like, no, that's the wrong way, we gotta put the handcuffs on you now, because you're messing things up. Like, you know, just like, if you go through, over to the cops, be like, hey, I ran a red light, sorry about that. No, cops like, oh, okay, we're gonna ticket you for running a red light because you said you did. That's what sort of logic is that?
You didn't know that there were classes in this specific subject area, so I think that's very indicative of your level of expertise and your qualifications in actually doing predator hunting.
Okay, well, it's not something I've done in over a year either, so that's fine.
No, but you have built a lot of your channel. Like, some of your biggest views are from the predator hunting, and you know, that's
no,
yeah.
No, they're not. No, that's factually incorrect. What's my biggest video?
I don't know. I don't have your YouTube pulled up right now. But I guarantee. I think if you pull up your normal videos in comparison with your predator hunting videos, or your videos where you're just yelling at somebody and you're morally grandstanding,
it'll just be
that's your specialty. If you
Josh Kiss, it'll just be thrown out if he does it wrong. That's my belief. Like, they might not even necessarily contact him again. And what's worse is that if he's done it wrong and it gets thrown out, it could make it more difficult to get actual permissible evidence against that person, because the way the legal system works, meaning he could very well jeopardize actual ongoing police work, which has happened before with these sort of predator hunters. It's why you had to be extremely careful with this stuff. Go through the proper channels if you're going to do it.
Videos.
It's not impossible, but it's not something you can just jump into.
I only care about people being hypocritical.
Well, you're not doing a very good job at bullying if you think that's what you're doing right now.
Oh, I don't think I'm bullying. I think I'm just asking you questions. If you think it's bullying, then, I apologize, but I don't care.
No. Well, why would you? Hold on. What do you mean you apologize, but you don't care? Why would you apologize if you didn't care?
I apologize if you feel that way. So here's the thing.
I hate when people do that. Okay, maybe Queen Bee's right. Maybe you do suck in this debate, Stardust. I feel like this is just how far down the shitter this guy is that the Stardust can own him, I guess. That's the classic non-apology, right? I'm sorry you felt that way. Because what you're feeling sorry for, you're not feeling sorry about your actions towards them. It's like a passive-aggressive. You're sorry that they don't see things your way. You're sorry that they're upset at you. You're not sorry for the actions that caused that in the first place. That's... Just don't even say that if you...
Yes. Are you aware
I hate that she's giving him points.
Minimal or maximal, can affect future cases when it comes to child predation.
It depends on what that would be. Hold on, I'm trying to find...
So specifically outing and speaking to...
Keldosh, my fave B is right an absurd amount of times. I mean... anybody who's just a random chatter on the internet, I'm just press X to doubt. Until I've done a bit of my own research. But I do notice some of those people... do know what they're talking about when it comes to some of this shit.
Predators?
Because I haven't pre-watched this. I don't know about it at all. I was just told, this guy's crazy, he does really bad in this, so...
Okay, if there's no specific agency, legal agency or law enforcement agency that is getting involved with you while you're doing this, then you are most likely jeopardizing any future cases related to that.
Okay, that's a good thing I don't do that. All right, so... Since you didn't do your research...
It's a good thing I don't do that, and I know I don't do that, because I'm me and I'm good at it.
The next one under...
I is LioConvoy, some random internet spurb named after a Transformers character. No, I is good. I is best predator hunter, because I have no credentials. I just born with the innate ability to do that based on my knowledge of Transformers and Thundercats. You wouldn't understand. Like, Thundercats is just, like, secret training on how to catch predators. Like, that's why, no, when they do, like, police courses on, like, actual, like, sex crimes division, they force them to just watch lots of episodes of Thundercats. It's subliminal messaging. That and The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, if you've never seen a Sonic Says as segment, like, Sonic knows this shit, right? Sonic knows that's no good. Like, Sonic, absolute best policeman. That's the reason he's blue. I'm surprised nobody figured this out yet. Sonic the Hedgehog is blue because he's actually an undercover cop. Okay? And Sonic and Tails are out to try and arrest Robotnik, Dr. Egghead, because not only for theft of the Chaos Emeralds, but he hasn't paid any of his taxes. He's making killer robots without a license. And that's no good. Like, the cops will get you for that shit every time.
About just a robot and people falsely accusing him of being one by making quote-unquote evidence. Underneath that is Smash Bandicoot, who does not, like, encourage children in the sense...
Smash Bandicoot! Okay, I need a reactive laughing for this character. I'd like to do it, like, get it more, like, proper model done at some point, but I joked about Sonic the Hedgehog, but the thing, like, all these guys, like, they're so unoriginal with their internet avatars. Like, I couldn't even look up much shit about this guy, because everything I was getting was, like, Transformers Beast Wars, okay? Like, no, these guys, like, literally name themselves after cartoon characters, use that cartoon character as their avatar, and these we're supposed to believe, are, like, the serious, like, internet sleuths.
That he sent them and he harasses them, but not that he tries to molest them. And underneath that's a cartoon intro and then Coyote.
Okay.
So you're wrong.
You did call. No. If you look at some of your most viewed videos, I would still argue that your normal videos in comparison to your Predator videos are, your Predator videos are going to get way more views.
Where are my Predator videos? Do you know what they are?
I mean,
they're just going to get way more views because it's drama, like, it's like,
and the video on
quote-unquote important shit.
For, like, revenge for Peaches, right?
It is not done as revenge for anything. What are you
okay, alleging somebody has CSAM is accusing somebody of...
It's not alleged. It's not alleged. He admitted it in a call.
Okay, so then you're calling him a predator. You're calling him a predator. You're calling him a predator.
I am not.
I need to do a deep dive on, like, the whole Hopeless Peaches thing again, because I vaguely remember that, but it's been, like, 2 years, something like that. Because if I remember, she was the one that was, like, involved with, like, the Creepshow art stuff. It was, like, either Creepshow was, like, stealing, like, plagiarizing stuff from her, or, like, harassing her online, sending people to harass her. Like, she was, like, totally involved in, like, the, downfall of Creepshow art, and she's sussy as fuck herself, so...
Owning CSAM is predatory behavior.
It is predatory behavior, but that does not inherently make him a predator.
Okay, so then it's still... This is pedantics.
Did your research, you wouldn't
this is pedantics. Why?
It is not semantics.
It is... It's literally... These are all predator related. It still makes my point. You actually made my point for me. All the videos...
You made it very specific point.
You literally talk about... No, I'm not moving the goalpost.
Keldoge, do you know your Catholic saints? Who is the Apostle of Ireland?
Your biggest videos are still predator related. They are. Alleging somebody has CSAM.
Like, I feel like I should know.
All right,
I should know that.
That's like. Feel better. Okay. So, do you want to tell me how you go about gathering evidence?
Well, depending on the case.
Like, Saint George is the Apostle of England.
They will come to me.
I know
that. They will tell me what's been going on. And at that point,
Saint Andrew is the Apostle of Scotland. Who's
edited or otherwise? Because obviously, if they're sharing material, we don't want to see that. We inform them.
Is it Saint Patrick? Saint Patrick's not one of the apostles, though.
Through how to gather that information.
I don't know, I'm confused.
Do you coordinate with their local PD when you do these operations?
Actually, the police here have told me that when I file reports, instead of going to their
It
local
is
PD,
St.
I should just file
Patrick?
with them and have the victim file with their local PD. That's what they've
Dude.
told me.
Okay, so then do you work with your local PD
Patty.
while you're gathering evidence or doing
We'll see if that
confronting people?
fits.
No, I usually pass the information on to them once it's all been gathered together.
No.
The confronting thing doesn't happen as often as you probably think. It's very rare, especially nowadays. Not even like the past year that I haven't been doing this, but even before then, the confronting them was extremely rare. There's a lot of cases I've worked on that haven't even seen the light of day because of various different reasons. Right now,
What are those reasons? Yeah, see, I have information that so-and-so might be a predator. Throw the snakes out of whatever. I have information that'll drive the snakes out of Ireland, but for whatever reason, I can't release it. It's not good enough for, like, content on my YouTube channel. So snakes are just gonna stay where they are. I'm not even gonna report those snakes to, like, the Whacking Day people. Like, you know, we can get Jebediah Springfield with his mallet to whack those snakes or something. No, can't even do that. Can't get the snake cops, no animal control. People will never find out about it because I researched it, and my research just wasn't good enough because I'm not a cop, I'm not a professional detective. I have no idea how to do predator hunting. I just want to do it because it means a lot to me.
Did the police ever ask you
Josh Kish, I know it's not St. Istvan, that's Hungary.
to help them with their investigations?
no.
And has your local PD apprehended anybody as a result of your investigations?
Well, considering they're usually in other states, my local PD wouldn't be doing that. The way they explain to me this works is that they look into it themselves, and if they think there's enough data or enough legitimate information, they will pass it on to the local PD of the individual who is the perpetrator. And we had an incident with that, which I'm sure you're familiar with by now, with the Vita case. Jordan got together with their local PD. Their local PD got a 16-page document about everything Vita did. They passed it on to the North Carolina PD, and the North Carolina PD decided, well, we're not going to do anything about it because we don't even know if he has that phone anymore.
Could it not be?
Didn't he just say that if he ever did it wrong, the police would let him know? And then he's like, oh, here's a case where I didn't have all the details correct. I gave it to the Tampa Bay ED, and they weren't able to do anything with it. What a weaselly little liar. What a liar. What a weaselly little liar.
Because you did not involve law enforcement or any agencies actively when gathering that evidence?
They said nothing of the source.
I mean,
No reason for why they didn't do it.
Vita, okay, so first off, Vita was arrested. I believe one of the charges was for assaulting a police officer. It had nothing to do with internet crimes, anything like that.
Yep.
Secondly,
Wait,
Well, one thing had to do with internet crime.
Ishvan, is this the veto? Like the DGG veto? Like kick or keep veto? Or is it another veto? Is it Don Vito Corleone?
One thing
no,
that would be
I didn't see
computer
a single
theft.
listing.
Yeah.
Okay, computer
You
theft
didn't,
is
but I
very
think you need to
different.
go look.
Computer theft is very different than possession or exploiting a child online.
I'm not saying that's what he got.
Yeah,
reported
that's
for. I'm not
like
saying that's
petty
what he got
crime.
from jail. I'm literally telling
You've
you.
implied it. You've implied it.
I have not
because
implied
of your.
that.
Yes, you have. You've implied it.
You're talking about in reference to the police officer being assaulted. No, that is my fault. Because what happened there was Vita had a bout where he was trying to mess with Jordan, saying that he was going to kill himself and he was going to down pills. Jordan freaked out and begged me to call a what's it called? Shoot. It's where you tell a police officer something's
Different
going on
veto,
and
okay.
double check on the person to see if they're safe. What is that called?
Welfare check.
Excuse my
Welfare check,
Thank you,
yes.
welfare check. The police officer showed up.
That's
Vita
what
tried
we
to lie. The
do.
police officer took him into custody, took him to the ward, and when Vita was at the ward, he freaked out, panicked, assaulted a nurse.
What the fuck with internet people? This is like exactly like that Colton thing
Mother and a police
that I
officer.
covered. Like,
That's one of the things on his record.
So
That is my.
okay, so when you say that somebody was arrested for computer crimes, you are making it shadowy on purpose to make them seem more predatory, or at least the reason for their arrest to
No, you
seem more
don't.
predatory.
You haven't even heard why that is. You don't even know what the computer crimes are in relation to. You're making claims about my intent while knowing
You
all about
said
the
that
situation.
was.
Did call his
You
local
said that
police
it was
officer?
theft. You said it was theft.
Yes, it's computer theft. That is what is
Computer
listed. Do you know
theft.
what it's in relation to? Do you know what it's in relation
Why
to?
don't you
call
elaborate?
this
Tell me.
courthouse.
Tell me how it's related to him being a predator.
It's not. And I never claimed it was. Where are you getting this?
You being very vague when you claim that Vita was arrested for computer claims is implying that.
No, I'm saying it's on the document. If you actually did your research and you looked up anything concerning Vita, that
if you actually did your research like I did my research, you would know everything about Vito. Like, dude, I'm coming into this. I mean, I'm not Stardust, but I'm coming into this like knowing nothing about this shit. And half of this shit is just the two of you throwing names and accusations.
what it's listed as.
And like,
Computer
nothing in
theft.
relation to predation.
Computer theft is not even like it's not even a computer crime though. Computer theft is a theft crime. It's not a computer. It's not like an internet.
You don't even know what it's in relation to. You never
computer.
called the courthouse. You don't know what he got arrested for. You don't know. You're
I
claiming that
looked
I'm being
at
vague,
the
but I'm not.
records. Yes, you are being
Look
vague.
at-
You are
did
being
you
vague
call?
on purpose.
Did you
Also,
call? No,
Why do I need to call? I'm not the predator hunter here. You are. And you're saying that you don't.
About me being
You're
vague
saying
when I'm not.
you are. You are saying that you are saying.
No, I'm not. I'm being very direct.
Okay, I have done my research. There is no need to speak to me in this way or invalidate my work. Okay, I am not.
Yeah, fuck, man. We need like a legal eagle or something on this. Like, debate this guy, because this is insane. Like, she is like pulling out like the salient like hypocrisies and like problems with this guy, and it's getting insane. But it's taking so long,
Okay,
so
well,
much
I'm not
like beating
disrespecting
around
you.
the bush
At least
here.
I'm
It's
not intentionally trying to. So
This is
I
nuts.
would, you know, it would be nice to at least have.
I mean, she's trying. I'll give her that.
So I think you claiming that Vito was arrested for computer crimes is not very honest, to be honest. I think that you are implying that he was arrested for crimes committed on a computer, not theft of a computer.
That's literally what is written on the record. Did you look at the record?
I looked at the record.
This is why I asked if you.
But you said computer crimes. You said computer crimes. That's not specific at all.
Do you know what's in?
And that was only one of the things.
To?
Theft is only one of the things on that list. One of the reasons why he got into so much trouble was assaulting a police officer.
Do you know what the term? And I keep asking you this, and you keep avoiding it, so I'm going to try one more time. Do you know what the computer?
Josh Kiss, is he now saying he's not a predator hunter? No, what he's saying is that this particular like person that he went after, he gave information to the Tampa Bay Police Department, but they weren't able to use what he had. But the person got arrested for something else, so he considers this a win, right? Because this person got arrested for stealing a computer, which is like petty theft. That's like minor thing, he'll be out in like months, right? Where as opposed to like doing online sex crimes with a minor is a much bigger issue. Like, that's what he was actually using like the stolen computer for. But they can't prove that. And so he's saying that in this particular case, it was just like a predator hunter adjacent.
Computer theft charges in relation to?
Computer, like, what is it in relation to? Computer theft is on the record, by the way, not computer crimes.
If you had called the courthouse and done actual research that doesn't just require typing something in, and I'm not saying that to be derogatory, I'm saying this because this is good information for everyone.
But that's okay.
Called the courthouse, no, I'm being serious. If you had called the courthouse, I'd appreciate if you don't assume my attention. You had called the courthouse and listed off that charge number. What they would have told you is what he got arrested for was for accessing information via his computer that he did not have authorization for. What that is in reference to is the Sequestria Fest information that he tried to spread around, because he got reported to the police for that, and that's what they arrested him for. It was not physically stealing a computer. It was getting a hold of documentation online that he did not have clearance to get.
Okay, so you can call a courthouse.
Okay, so he didn't steal a computer. Yeah. He stole information with that computer, which
so
is a crime.
That's not what the report states.
All right, so tell me what the report states then.
I believe the report specifically says computer theft, right? You are implying computer crimes, which implies sex crimes.
That does not imply sex crimes.
If you're calling this guy a groomer,
computer crimes can be a myriad of things.
If you're calling him a groomer, and then you say that he was arrested for computer crimes, you are implying that he was arrested for sex-related crimes.
I think that you're making an implication there that is not my intent. My point is that he is a groomer and he got arrested for this. I'm making a clarifying statement.
I think anybody else who are listening to you talk about Vita being a groomer, and then you bring up computer crimes, not computer theft, not document theft, not assaulting a police officer, you don't say any of those other things that are way more specific, you just say computer crimes, anybody else in my position would also think that you were implying sex crimes.
Okay, that's argumentum ad populum.
Okay.
That's why you ask qualifying statements, or clarifying statements, rather.
Or I don't...
I'm telling people what he got arrested for.
Sure, but again, you did not present it that way. It was deceptively presented.
No, because deception requires intent. I've been very clear that I did not have anything to do with Vita being arrested for sexual crime. That's why I'm so doggone frustrated that the PD was handed a 16-page dossier from another department and did nothing with it.
Okay. It seems like you're getting upset, so I'll back off a little bit. I feel like, look, here's the thing.
No, it's fine.
You should clarify if you're making an accusation like that. I think it's very easy for anybody who's listening to that, knowing the average IQ of the online audience, sorry guys, that they are not, look, I'm just saying, you
hot beats kettle, Stardust.
If you're calling somebody a groomer and saying that you're helping with, unveiling them as a groomer or helping their victim of grooming.
Stardust, my IQ is 140. What's yours?
And then you say that they were arrested for computer crimes. You might have said later that, it wasn't sex crimes, but still, in that moment, that is implying sex crimes.
The specific moment you're referring to, where was that?
I would have to go
back
in... No, I don't know specific videos. I've been through so many videos these past few days, yeah.
Because I don't remember if it was mentioned in a specific video, but if it was mentioned in like a Senate call or something, most of the people in there knew more of the specifics there. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I don't sometimes struggle with communication. I found out recently I may very well be on the spectrum, so that explains quite a few things. So, no, I think that's a fair criticism to make, that being more specific about things wouldn't hurt. 100% fair criticism to make.
I think people are saying it's a Lagover call. It was in Lagos.
The Lagover call. Oh, well, I have to go back and listen to that. It's been like a year.
Okay. So, do you think that Let me see here, my other questions that I've written out.
Sure.
Do you think that, what does being on you just mentioned that you might have autism? I guess, like, what does autism explain? I guess you said that you said that you have communication problems or something like that.
Yeah, it explains sometimes how I struggle with communication, sometimes how I process my own emotions. It also may explain why if somebody gives me information that doesn't like fit, that it becomes extremally frustrating for me. And sometimes, of course, social faux pas. So there's other like more inherent things that I'd have to remember as I go about my daily life that might explain it a little bit more. But I'm waiting for an official diagnosis. Still waiting to hear back about that. But every other thing I've done kind of points me in that direction.
Okay. I would just say that, I think if we can make excuses for, again, you being on the spectrum, then I don't see why we couldn't have made excuses for Rosa, right?
I've said multiple times that what happened in that call is abhorrent. I'm not sitting here saying that it's an excuse. I own what I've done. I own what I've said.
Rosa call's already been covered. You failed to really make much of a point on that. He's saying he's apologized for that, whatever. I'm more interested, what the hell, like, the 7-letter word ending with M for Ivan's pantheon? Like, is there, like, Slavic gods or something? Like, what does it even mean? Kaldoge, my IQ is weirdly high for a slow individual. Mine too. Actually, you know what's weird? So, like, when you do, like, a IQ test with, like, neurologist, it's like a, like, aggregate IQ, right? Like, so it's a bunch of different tests that they do. Now, so, it's a quotient. So, some of the tests I was terrible at, like, far below, like, standard, like a standard deviation. Like, below standard deviation on these particular tests. But a lot of that's balanced out by a couple tests, like pattern recognition, lateral thinking, where I was in, like, second or third standard deviation. Which is insane. Like, the one test we did, okay? They have these tests, and it's designed so that you run out of time and see how far you get. I completed the entire book and asked for more. He had never encountered that in his life. Didn't know what to do. Like, still had time on the clock left. I'm like, okay, what do I do now? It's like, you couldn't have possibly gotten all of those correct and done that quickly. And it's like, nope, I did them all. Did them all correct. No wrong answers there.
I don't think paying attention.
Even the hard ones weren't hard enough.
I feel like you fought very hard on that. Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
Do you realize that
I broke your test.
With your possible diagnosis of autism or being on the spectrum, do you recognize doxing or hunting for information to be kind of like faux pas now?
I guess it depends on the situation.
I think it's. I just
so
think
there have
it's
been times
really. Sorry, go ahead.
Here's part of the problem I have here. And one reason why I think people are always so scared of people finding out their information, especially in the spaces I deal with, is because a lot of these people say and do abhorrent things that I don't want to tie back to them in reality. So I'm going to say this very clearly. If you guys, and I mean you as a whole, not you as in you, if you guys don't think that sooner or later somebody's going to cyberbully a politician and your anonymity will be gone the next day, you're kidding yourselves.
No, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely, but it depends also on the level of cyberbullying, right? There's a difference between threatening, like, an official, right, in a very, threatening them with violence versus somebody saying something crazy.
A politician or Elon Musk or Drake, for example, their information, like their address and such, is like public knowledge. Like, you can just search that up because they are a public figure. That's very different from, like, some 17-year-old kid saying edgy shit in a Discord. Like, that's completely different.
Right? And I would say if it's just a normal person, unfortunately, like, I've been threatened plenty of times online. There's not a whole lot that you can do, and I would never think of doxing somebody.
I think it's
I'm scared every time I watch these streams at Stardust. Lol. I mean, she did this recently. I kept hearing how much this guy sucks in this, and like, he's not doing well, but it's like, I know, it always feels like I'll try and be generous to her, but, like, every time Stardust debates somebody, she kind of just offers them, like, a blank wall, basically. Like, never really, slaps back or anything. It's like he's in an echo chamber, and he's getting KO'd by his own echo. That's how fucking retarded this dude is.
Making a very right to report them to the authorities for it. That's illegal and that's against the law.
But that's a little bit different than making their information, more public than it already was, right?
If that's what I was doing, you might have an argument there.
I think calling their parents and, making it available to, like, when you're in calls with people, I think that's I think that's
Do
overstepping.
I rattle off the phone number? Do I rattle off the phone number? Do I rattle off the name? Do I rattle off the address?
I think you have asked some pretty invasive questions, and
I'm questioning.
I mean, and you've definitely mentioned like personal details in calls. So.
Like what? But if you'll notice, you're saying you actually think I've done why?
I mean, the calls are out there, right? They're censored now because they're censored, but in that call they weren't.
Which one?
Any of the ones with like you calling parents.
Any of them. That's interesting.
Why don't you go take a look at the Dr. Trimmer call that's on Seraphina's channel sometime?
Hello. I mean, like, look, you've already threatened to reveal personal information about Kumo. You've threatened to reveal personal information about Gilded.
I don't think you know what that word means in this case. When did I threaten to reveal anything?
In your response video?
Nope, never threatened to reveal anything.
I don't know. I think everybody else.
What is the word reveal? Argument ad populum. Again, you can sit there and say everyone else all day long.
Well, I mean, we've already kind of established that neither of these people really has the full grasp of what like a doxing like actually entails. I mean, I guess Stardust kind of got it right with like a private information made public, but that's not really it either. Like, I could have like private information like the color of my eyes, for example, and somebody could go and dox the color of my eyes, but I wouldn't consider that doxing. Like, they would just have to see like a photo of me, but that's not like public information. I haven't even done like a face reveal on this channel. Maybe I'll do some like actual like scare cam, like react camera stuff at some time. Not to this shit. Not today.
That doesn't mean it's the intent. That's not what I said.
I look like shit. I feel like shit. This is brain damage.
Anything of that sort. Because the answer to that is no.
Okay, you threatened to call the police.
I'm in my Quiegler mode.
Because they're doing illegal action. Should I not inform police when people are doing illegal actions? Because here in Texas,
illegal
actions?
felonies?
I mean, not quite that.
What illegal actions are illegal?
You don't think threatening to rape somebody is illegal?
Did Gilded threaten to rape somebody?
I'm talking about Kumo specifically, because that's what that was in relation to. If you paid attention, you would have noticed.
I don't think threatening to rape people, unfortunately, is illegal, because I've been threatened to be raped plenty of times on the internet.
Yes. Okay, did you report it to the police? That's wrong, and that's not okay.
Illegal.
Then I think you need to, because that is absolutely illegal.
How? How is it illegal?
What do you mean?
Okay.
What law is it
illegal to threaten to
This
rape
doesn't
somebody?
help because, I'm a fucking Canadian Eskimo. I shouldn't, anyway, I gotta be right. No, Eskimo's a slur. Not supposed to use that word, right? Feels like all the cool words are slurs these days, but it's always kind of used as a slur against, like, native people. That's not really cool. We just never knew that. So I'm getting Canadian law shit anyway, but, interestingly, the definition appears to include threats of sexual assault as a sexual assault itself suggests a person could be convicted of sexual assault without physically touching the victim. If they make a threat of sexual assault, for instance, I'm going to rape you, one should check with their local authority, check with their local police for information on how the courts... That's part of the other thing doing this, like, online, though. Is, like... Because these people are going to be, like, in different states, different cities, with, like, different laws and such regarding this. That's going to be different. Rape threats are often made online via social media as a form of online harassment. According to one study of 134,000 abusive I'm just reading off Wikipedia, okay? Comments on social media. No, not that one. Keep grabbing the wrong tab. People are going to see stuff they weren't supposed to. I don't think there's anything there, but... Okay. Okay. 88% were found to occur on the platform Twitter, 8% on Facebook, and remaining on various forums and blogs. I'm gonna guess that, like Discord is part of that shit. They can't... Part of the thing is they can't, like, go through and, like... There's no manpower in the world for, like, police forces to all gain up and check every one of those and, like, make arrests for... Examination found that 9% of women in Australia received comments, email, or text messages. And I'm guessing that's not 9% out of people, women who went online, but like 9% of the general population. Legal history. Is there any... Okay. It looks like there's very few things of, like, this actually being tried, like, in court. Lunis versus United States. Okay. concerning whether conviction of threatening another person over interstate lines, okay. So, exactly what we're talking about with the LioConvoy thing here requires proof of subjective intent to threaten, which would be actually leaked logs would be a help, but actual substantive proof that they could act on those words, right? If I understand that correctly. Mens rea, yeah. Okay. Or whether it is enough to show that a reasonable person would regard the statement as threatening. Proposed threats of violent rap lyrics written by Anthony Douglas Alonis and posted to Facebook. What the fuck? Okay, posted script of a sketch of Wise Kids, you know. Did you know that it's illegal for me to say I want to kill my wife? It's illegal. It's indirect criminal contempt. It's one of the only sentences that I'm not allowed to say. Now it was okay for me to say it right then because I was... Well, I'll quit out my white person rap, but... not illegal to say with a mortar launcher. This is clearly a joke, right? This is a joke. This is funny. It's part of a sketch comedy. Art is about pushing limits. Decision. 8-1 decision. Okay, what was... Court circuit was reversed and the matter remanded. I'm not going to read all this. Third court reaffirmed the conviction, concluding beyond a reasonable doubt that Alonis would have been convicted if the jury had been properly instructed. Well, what am I not understanding here? Is this like fucking old white guys not getting comedy? Anyway. Right, LioConvoy, how do we know this isn't comedy? I don't know the context, so...
Battery is the physical act of assault, the threat.
Somebody saying that they're gonna... Especially if it's like a joke, I don't know.
Oh, everybody here is so retarded.
If there's something between friends, you might have an argument there.
I hate this debate.
Let's not move the goalpost here.
Do you believe in free speech?
Why I would call the authorities.
Do you believe in free speech?
I believe define free speech.
Well, I think one of the
Because if you're going down that road, then you have no right to get on to me for contacting anybody's parents. You're going to lose that real quick.
No, I think contacting parents is very different from free speech. How is that related at all?
Hey, it's free speech. I'm talking however I want to, whomever I want. That's freedom of association as well.
But you're being super invasive. I'm not claiming that legally that...
Oh, is free speech now somehow limited by invasive?ness? Do you believe in free speech? If you do, what is your definition of it?
I believe in free speech with some very, very fringe limits, but threatening to rape somebody online is that's part of being on the internet.
So that's acceptable to you?
Apparently, unless you're Chief Justice John Roberts. And you're a black guy making a joke rap or whatever on your Facebook, and then it's not okay. I don't know. I'm not a legal person. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a constitutional lawyer. Don't take my word on any of this stuff as serious.
Acceptable. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Oh, okay. So as long as it's within the status quo, we shouldn't concern ourselves with it, yes?
I mean, look, there's laws that protect free speech. I don't know what law you were saying that they are violating for, jokingly threatening to rape somebody.
What law protects you from
Section 230 protects free speech.
Section 230 of which specific one? Because there's a lot of different states and a lot of different laws. Which one is it? What statute is it?
I'll pull it up for you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta check this out too. Not that. Too many tabs. Too little time. Okay. Section 230, did he say? Criminal Code. Culpable homicide. That is murder. That's not it.
It is to where...
It is a protection that allows...
It has nothing at all to do with whether or not it's acceptable to threaten to rape somebody.
But it is a protection that allows for people...
At all to do.
Expression to flourish, sites from legal liability, promotes strongest protection for free speech online. Protection has allowed Online Decency Act of 1996. It's considered... Okay, so Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act of 1996.
Okay, Section 2...
It's considered...
Okay, Section... So I did have that right. Just not criminal code. How does Stardust know this? Is this something she's expert at? Debating free speech? I mean, it's probably come up before in her streaming career, I'm gonna guess, right? No provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Good Samaritan protection from civil liability for operators. So if I'm reading this correctly, this is like a TELUS or whatever, no, Comcast. Like, you can't go out and arrest Comcast. You can't prosecute Twitter or Elon Musk if people are putting up, like, actual, like, criminal threats or whatever. That doesn't...
Strongest protection for free speech online. It protects websites, social media platforms, and other sites from legal liability for most user-generated content. This protection has allowed online expression to flourish, dissuading companies from censoring speech.
That has to do with protecting companies from liability. That has nothing at all to do with whether or not it's acceptable to threaten to rape somebody.
But it is a protection that allows for people to express.
Websites.
No, but it also allows for people to express. It allows individuals to express themselves the way that they do.
That's a very specific. That is a very specific thing in reference to whether or not these websites or blogs or whatever can be held legally viable or accountable for what the people on it say. It does not affect everything on there legally viable in order to people on Twitter or elsewhere.
Literally, I'm again not a lawyer, but I'm reading like the actual code of the law here, and based on my reading, I'm getting what he is saying. You have to be a provider of an interactive computer service, or a provider of user. So even if you're like hosting a like private forum, you still have the protection is still granted to you. So if you do this like on my Discord or something, for example, it's bad that you did crimes in my Discord, but I am not legally liable for it. If I didn't know about it, I didn't accessorize it, and I went to the police about it by this clause. Cause of action asserted by the plaintiff must treat the defendant as a publisher or speaker. Information must be provided by another information content provider. Right, so I can't commit crimes on my own Discord platform and then say, I'm not criminally responsible because I'm just the Discord owner and my free speech. So Stardust is just wrong here. She's just wrong about this law.
Well, people on Twitter who are arrested are usually in China. But
no,
blogs,
no, that is not true.
The people with blogs are still user-run. It's so like a Tumblr blog, for example, that is still a blog, and that is user-generated content still. It protects that user as well.
No, it does not protect that user from legal culpability. I'm sorry, but you're wrong flatly.
It does. Look, there is no law that I can think of that criminalizes free speech.
That's not.
I can get a lawyer in here to.
Defamation. Those aren't covered.
That's not slander defamation. That's not slander defamation. There's not.
I said threats. I said threats, slander, and stuff like.
Queen Bee, did you realize Stardust lost yet, Keldoge? I mean, I don't know. I'm only halfway through. It's literally two retards fighting, like... Like, this guy is, like, sus as shit from what I'm hearing him saying. Like, he's... Even if he's, like, totally on the up and up and doing everything correctly, he's, like, still... I had, like, no clue what he's doing is, like, really irresponsible. This could be really potentially dangerous to the threatened people that he's trying to protect. And then Stardust is trying to hit him on points like that, Section 230 of the Communications Act. I just read through it, and it doesn't say what she's saying it does. And LioConvoy has it up, reads it, and understands it correctly, like from what I understand. Like, unless both me and him are wrong, and that somehow the extent to a provider of an internet service can be interpreted to also extend to the person. He's a lunatic and she did poorly at That's what I'm saying. Like Stardust Debate, it's literally like going up in an echo chamber. Like, she might as well not be there, and he's getting knocked out by the echo of his own voice. That's how fucked this is.
I would absolutely have Homeland Security knocking on my doggone door. You know better.
Yeah, well, raping the president is a little bit different. I'm sorry, raping the president is a little bit different than an average user.
Is that going to be Bo Black's next Twitter alt tweet? I want to rape the president. I would totally rape Joe Biden. Guys, I was actually thinking of making my Twitter alt. It's going to be something like a throbbing Voshcock. I think it's a funny throwback.
Joe, doesn't matter. It's still illegal.
I mean, you've done it before,
That's what you're
apparently.
trying. You're very hard to miss.
Salt.
You're trying very hard to miss.
I have a lawyer I can bring in. Can I add a lawyer to this call?
I have
Because
a-
they wanted to explain the free speech law.
Oh, we get a lawyer?
You can ask her. It's
Okay.
her, by the way. Here,
Does the lawyer
let me-
get this right?
Let me put you guys in a call together. Hello?
Oh my goodness, your name is Barbie. That's amazing.
Hello.
I'm actually gonna do quick BRB right now because this really is literally giving me brain damage. I going to go fix my brain up a bit. Like, no, go through like the phrenology, glue my bits of broken brain back together. Just do it. Yeah, I'll shut up and. Man, Dungeon Explorer games like had bopping soundtracks. It's a shame like nobody knows that stuff. Like, cause I was like kind of like original like Japanese Gauntlet clone. It's good times,
How's it
good
going?
stuff.
Not a robot. I'm just a woman.
No, thank you.
Get back to this rot.
I don't think so now.
No, not now. Thank you.
Right. So, Lyle, you are incredibly incorrect when it comes to the
Make
protections
Peter
afforded by
Coffin's
Section
left
230
nipple
to both free
as.
speech.
Oh, is that legally blonde for the lawyer? That's kind of hilarious. Beep. I'll slow it down because she's talking kind of fast. Josh Kiss says, make it Peter Coffin's left nipple. No, that's yours. Like, that's your thing. Although, does that mean, like, his right nipple is in Hungary? That's Josh Kiss will be like Peter Coffin's Hungarian nipples. I don't know. Why is everybody online fucking insane? Why am I fucking insane? I don't know. I need more Mexican beer. Oh, that's good shit. That hits hard. I like to do a segment on like adjunct laggers someday because people hate that shit. Like the beer snobs hate that shit, but like there's some companies that actually do it well, and like we like sake, we like rice wine, we like rice liquor. It's like adjunct lager is literally barley and rice mixed together, right? It can be done well, it's possible. It's just a lot of it's mass-produced shit, but...
Robot. Not a robot. I'm just a woman.
No, thank you. You're robotic.
Am I still roboting now?
I don't think so now.
No, not now. Thank you.
Right. So, Lyle, you are incredibly incorrect when it comes to the protections afforded by Section 230 to both free speech and as well as other threats made in person. Until or unless someone is making a time, manner, and place-specific threat, meaning I'm going to go take down Lammy Lamb at 3 o'clock on March 34th at 4 p.m., there is nothing any police federal or otherwise, can do except for collect that information on the off chance you want to try to get a protective order. But it must be specific to the person, maybe the manner, maybe the place, have related information. There have been cases in which tweeting out pictures of a house and saying this will look pretty on fire have counted, but the protections, especially under Section 230, as it has not been reformed, are incredibly high for that type of free speech. So yes, you are absolutely allowed to make those threats. It is also incredibly inappropriate for you to think or try to state, oh, so these things are all right to you as opposed to legal. You know that those are two different standards.
I asked her a direct question. I'm sorry if that upsets you, but here's the problem with you trying to make that defense. Kuma made it very clear when and who they planned on doing it to. And how, actually. If you listen to it, did you listen to it?
I sure do. I've listened to all these things. There's no need for you to try and fact check or invalidate what it is that I'm trying to state. Once again, of course.
Well, again, too bad you're being inconsistent then.
Okay. See, she's a lawyer, right? I'm not a lawyer. I'm trying to figure this shit out. Ron Wyden, Chris Cox, Good Samaritan, protection from civil liability for operators. Because liabilities for providers and users, okay. If you're, well, yeah, but that's different from, like, no person actually distributing the threats. Maybe it's one of these additions. Okay, liability production. Suing AOL for failing to remove libelous ads posted by AOL users that inappropriately connected his home phone number. Oh, that's fucking vile. What? Federal immunity to any cause of action of what? But that's for AOL. The way it specifically is a provider. Roommates.com. Protections for social media. Okay. That's also not... Okay, Wake of Christchurch. Impact liability towards online hate speech has been raised. Concerned politicians' decisions raise calls at large tech companies for the need for hate speech to be... Right, okay, so that's what, like, Stardust lawyer friend is saying, basically, is that because the companies are not liable for that, they don't need to remove that, and because they're not legally... No, again, this is just like how corporations tend to work. If they're not legally required to do something, they won't. No, it's always the bare minimum with a lot of these people. But hate speech is generally protected speech under the First Amendment. So all Section 230 is doing is removing the liability for, like, your ISP provider or the website that you're doing this on to be forced to moderate such content. It's not their fault, it's online. And, you know, where you end up ceding free speech is, you know, if I can say, go kill yourself. On YouTube, on stream, go kill yourself. Chat, have you killed yourself yet? Right? And maybe that'll get this flagged or some sort of shit. I doubt it, but it's not criminal. I've done nothing wrong. I'm just being edgy internet person. I don't mean it. Completely protected, free speech, right of free speech. But if I'm like, I am going to kill X certain person at this location on this day, then that's no intent for crime. That's evidence of intent. Evidence of criminal intent.
Other than reporting that and getting that video flagged or taken down, there is no appropriate measure for you to try to find that information and then go out and do something with it.
Okay,
and you know what you're doing when you imply these things.
Well, we've read,
yes.
yes.
What you're doing when you imply these things.
Nope, don't play that game with me. I know exactly what I said. I never implied I do anything other than file a police report. You're sitting here saying you heard it, then maybe get your ears checked.
I don't need to get my ears checked, Lyle. I think you're just used to speaking to people between 18 to 22 and then usually kowtowing to you, and that's not going to happen right now.
I have dealt
You
with
don't have a good grasp of the law, and you don't have a good grasp of anything else going on. No one is playing any games with you.
Why are you being incredibly inconsistent? You're clearly playing some game because you literally listed the things that would qualify for that.
Oh, I was like, why is the bottom of my crossword gray, but it's not my crossword, it's her. I'll move this over here. I don't think any of you are really paying much attention to that anyway, but let you see that I'm actually multitasking, doing shit while I listen to this brain rot.
To be reported that we're in that call, and now you're trying to backtrack. If you are a lawyer, which I don't know, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you are.
That's fine. You can call me a paralegal. None of your business. I don't
paralegal. Okay, so she's not like full lawyer then. Okay.
Why would you want to dox me? Because I think you're unhinged and don't have great touch with reality.
Yeah, you're doxing children. It doesn't.
B, are you still here? Like, I feel like Stardust should just moderated and had these two debate. Like, it would have been so much better.
It doesn't really bode well for your,
Yeah, but again, you've
already admitted you don't know what doxing means.
Right.
No,
well, you know what?
Yeah, she doesn't know what doxing means. I went over that earlier. It's
fine with work. I hope you speak to my boss. I'm married
he doesn't
to
know
him.
what doxing is either, though.
He
So,
would take any complaints from you.
Why in the world?
Josh, because who is this talking? This is she goes. Let's take a sidebar. My lawyer friend. Just the legally blonde PFP there.
That's extremely weird.
I do have a question. There is actually a legal. I feel like there's an actual legal violation. I think that could be argued here, right? You have said multiple times that you would report several people to the police, even though you know it wouldn't go anywhere. Is that that's like wasting police time and resources for a report that you know is not.
The police have always told me it's better to have. The police have always told me it's better to have something on file than nothing. And yes, I've also.
So wait, in your jobs of child predation hunting, you've never encountered the National Center for Missing or Exploited Kids? Ever?
She just hit him on this. Like, he has none of the resources. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Man, why couldn't we just have these two debate? Would it, like, from the beginning? Actually have some, like, cooking going on. Like Stardust, like, threw a wet waffle at him, and he dodged it. And then she's, like, actually lobbing stuff. Queen Bee arguing extremely unlikely but plausible legal shit without any subject matter expertise is very, very... Yeah. And that's what Stardust is doing. Like, she needs her lawyer friend to explain this legal stuff. Like, I can almost say almost anything is plausibly illegal using some misleading case law. You studied law, right? I'm assuming you're probably as well up on law as our paralegal friend in the video here. So it's nice to have you explain some of the shit. Like, I'm just looking up how this is said, and what I was gonna say, because I thought Stardust actually hit him with a kind of lame point, where, no, isn't what you're doing illegal? And I think that might be what you're replying to. Like, my understanding, again, not a lawyer, not expert on this, don't know what the article would be on this, is that unless you're actually provably, like, obstructing justice, reporting to something to the police, even if it's bullshit, is not criminal. Like, sure, you're taking up their resources. They might not appreciate it, especially, like, if you're trolling them or prank calling them. But even then, like, from what I understand, like, prank calling the police is also not illegal. Doesn't mean you should do it. But unless you're, like, actually actively hampering an active investigation, like keeping police from being able to do their work, like getting in the way of their job, allowing crimes to go through, it's not in itself criminal. That's my understanding. Queen Bee, yes, I went to law school, but did not practice anything in litigation or criminal. Oh, that's cool. I have a cousin who does, specializes in, like, a tort reform. Toxic tort. So if you've ever seen, like, a Michael Clayton, that kind of stuff. So, Yeah, there's a lot of different
I asked
fields.
law enforcement if it's better to contact them or contact that facility, and they said it's always better to contact them.
You were not aware of that
Right, of
facility at
course.
all.
Just a mistake to frame this conversation legally. I thought Stardust learned that from Poppy. Apparently not. I think Stardust is one of those who, like, does improve over time, but she learns very slowly. You know, it takes her touching the stove and getting burnt multiple times for it to, for the neurons to reach the brain, right?
Prior to this conversation, though.
I was not aware of their classes.
But again, they openly have forms for reporting. Have you utilized those forms? Because as you know, if it's not harassment, and unless I don't want to know your state, so please don't share your state. Unless it's all within your state, there is very little local PD can. Wait, I'm not talking about your state or doxing it. I disavow that if that's happening. I don't care to know those things, to be very clear. But whenever you're talking about this in particular, especially with crossing online, or excuse me, crossing state lines, it must always be reported federally. That is why usually the federal crimes and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Kids work so closely together, because that is the only way with which to catch these child predator rings. So have you ever done that?
Rings? Well, hold on. Now you pivoted talking about child predator rings. When did I ever deal with a child predator
Rings.
So
Put a ring on it.
Typically, if you read any of sure.
Okay, let's look this up.
Stardust here on anything.
National Center for
Did I
Missing and Exploited Children.
I'm not done. You pivoted several times. You can go back and re-listen to this. You say you're good at research. Let's do that. Anytime I've called the police, and I've asked them about whether or not
killed my
it's better to report to
browser.
them or to the Center for Missing
That's not a good
Exploited Children,
sign.
better to report to them.
Yes,
If it is
because the
case
Center
that's
for
been
Missing and
handled, not
Exploited
done.
Children works specifically with the FBI, which does every interstate problem. You know this. I know that you know this. So when it comes to these
And the
specific
cops will
crimes,
forward it
though,
to the feds.
but
on
they
them.
don't, though.
Oh,
They
so
don't do
magically
that.
just sit there and do nothing.
We
Yes,
might
they-
have to restart this. Okay. I don't know if their website is broken or I'm the broken one. Okay, this is working now.
These child predator rings. So have you ever done that?
Rings? Well, hold on. Now
So this is missingkids.org. So this is their website now. Case resources, publications. So it looks like they'll just give this, including the professional training, classroom courses. Cool. So if you have something to here's what I'm like. Make a cyber tip line report. I'm not actually gonna do report. Let's see. How far can we do this? Have more questions before you start. I'm not actually gonna. Yeah. But I assume this links you to like a form where you can provide like any screenshots or docs you have. This is what you should do. What a lawyer friend here is saying is, because these people know how to deal with the federal law, with the federal bureaus. No, because that's right, this is a FBI thing. And so submit an anonymous report with people who have the money and resources to deal with that shit. Okay. Get back to this.
Now you pivoted talking about child predator rings. When did I ever deal with a child predator ring?
So
See, this is one
typically,
thing I have noticed throughout the entire. Hold on.
typically,
Hold on, I'm
if
still
you read
talking.
any of sure.
One thing I have noticed through all this is anytime I pin Stardust here on anything, they pivot. Or they goalpost me. Or in your case, bring you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Even though
Where
I made
did
it
I
very clear
pivot?
that. Hold on, I'm not done. I'm not done.
No. Stardust. Well, when you were saying, no, you're the one breaking the law by giving false or useless reports to police. Like, that's not breaking the law. That's just nothing. That's just wasting the person on the phone line's time. Like,
Pivoted several times. You can go back and re-listen.
they actually take all those things seriously,
Anytime
and
I've called the police,
my crossword got
and I've asked
erased.
them about
Fuck.
whether or not it's better to report to them or to the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They always say it's better
It's
to
all
report to them.
Yes,
If it is a
because
case
the
that's
Center for
to
Missing
handle,
and
not done.
Exploited Children works specifically with the FBI, which does every interstate problem. You know this. I know that you know this. So when it comes to these
And the
specific
cops will
crimes,
forward it
though,
to the feds.
but
on
they
them.
don't, though.
Oh,
They
so
don't do
magically
that.
just sit there and do nothing with it.
Yes, they are under no obligation. They are under no obligation to escalate or do anything like that.
They're not under
Other
obligation
than
to do
taking
anything per the Supreme Court rule in 2005.
I understand that, and this is a different standard from the life-saving standard of that case in 2005 that you're talking about. I know which one you're speaking of. But in terms of escalating this with a police report, they're obligated to take your report, absolutely. It can go into like the round receptacle in the trash can after that. They are not obligated to do anything, which is why I'm asking.
Okay. So, apparently I'm not a complete and total retard on this. She's saying exactly the same thing that I'm doing. That if they have a nothing thing, and this is actually, from what I understand, is like the majority of police reports too. I did one for the first time like last year. Never called the cops on anybody, did that. And they just kind of visited, checked, made sure everything was all right, and left. They didn't, like, nobody got written up for anything or anything. But it did get the, like, I know, scare some shit into these people, I guess. Like, I don't advise doing that necessarily. Like, I'm not a narc. But yeah, I'm just going to say that, yeah, I think majority of police reports, they'll look at this, decide, is there anything we could actually actionable here that we can do? No? Goes in the trash. Because never going to look at it again, never going to refer to it. He's literally wasting his time.
You say that you work so hard excuse me?
Why aren't they obligated?
My cat's like found a corner like between the computer and the couch. She's like all hidden there.
Because it's beyond their jurisdiction, and they are
God,
only paid
we're not
by
even
the people
halfway
within their
through this
jurisdiction.
shit.
There's no obligation for them to try and escalate those things online. No,
they
they don't.
have no obligation to report it to their superiors, which is the federal government. You're kidding.
I'm gonna lose
No,
it.
they don't. And federal government isn't their superiors, especially if it's a state police. What are you talking about? You also know this.
Then who's their superior then? Why are they not obligated to report things to the
The governor usually. I mean, the governor. Are you really? Like in a state? I'm confused. Are you kidding me, or are you being serious right now?
I'm asking you why they would not forward something that is the feds to the feds.
Because again, they're
People
not
in
the
chat,
federal office. So yes, you make that report, and that's great.
Still watching,
But they have no obligation to advance it anywhere else. And the federal government system is entirely different from local and state systems, right? That's why whenever they have to work together on cases or on serial
like
murders,
a momentary
across state lines or other things like that,
momentary cleanse or something. Look at something fun for a little bit, then we'll get back to this, or should I just power through it?
The federal office, like the FBI office or branch in charge of all of that may coordinate with the other police departments, but it is almost always the FBI who is in charge of that. And because it is a different system, there's really first off, you also know this, like those agencies are notoriously difficult in terms of sharing information and speaking to one another, but there's just no way to assume that they would ever turn any of those things in. Of course they wouldn't.
And neither would the feds. They're not obligated to either.
Well, yeah, nobody is obligated to do anything, but you can go online onto FBI.gov and it'll say, do you have a problem with, especially with online predation, I mean, with any place to file a report, and you can put in all of this.
Hey, so what she's saying here is that you could report it directly to the authorities, which across state lines in this particular instance online is in the U.S. with the FBI. And he doesn't do that either. He's calling the parents. Okay.
Information, and hopefully it'll escalate, but at least then you've documented it in the correct place. Unfortunately, especially if none of these predations are taking place in your local jurisdiction, let's say that you live in, I'm going to make up Allenville, Tuscaloosa, whatever, then the only cases that would actually happen would be the ones in Allenville. None of the other ones, like if you're talking about a case in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or in Rhode Island, none of that matters to them. They're not even under an obligation to send that case along to Rhode Island PD.
So your argument is that not only would the police sit there and actively tell me to do something that they know.
And this is actually a problem. Like, actual, like, real-life sex offenders, like, real-life child predators are getting free pass because they'll just move across state lines to a state where their crimes have not been documented. And the local PD, as long as they don't have to do like a background check or something, local PD has just never forwarded the relevant information. Unless there's like Amber Alert or something, like there's like an active manhunt for this person. Like you could have somebody wanted for grooming children, for committing No, sexual assault on children for possessing CP, living in your own neighborhood, and not know it, because they fled justice, fled from some other state. I know this has happened. I've seen it happen, and it's fucking disgusting. No, we need better accountability there. No, so I wanted to have a discussion about that. That's like an actual issue.
Will likely go nowhere.
No,
Also,
that's not what I
they're
stated.
discouraging me. Well, I'm not done. But they're also discouraging me from taking it to the people who should do something about it, because they flat out told me multiple times that I should report it to them, not the website.
Right. So again, as I said, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children partners up with the FBI, but they are not a governmental agency or governmental arm. Again, of course, between those two options, reporting it to your local PD is always the best option. I don't know why they didn't tell you to file it with the FBI, but I'm not certain. Again, filing it with the FBI is very much the same way that you would probably do it with the online forums on NCMEC, and would be much easier to do that. Yes. But no, I'm not saying that they are lying to you or alleging those things. I don't know what your local PD office knows. We have no standards of training or regulation to ensure that they have any of this knowledge.
Okay. Anything else?
On the topic of, I know that this is a little bit beyond it, but you guys brought up like pedo rings. I do believe that you called
The cat gets the pets.
the Glitchtail server a pedo ring, did you not?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to do with that. I didn't have anything to do with that investigation.
Okay.
The only thing I had to do with it, matter of fact, let me put the caveat. The only thing I had to do was getting Artie and Veer in a call. That's essentially it. That and making the report myself. And that was before we found out the sheer amount of people that were there. The report I made was over a year ago. In fact, it was in...
Why do you keep calling these investigations if you just admitted you don't run them like investigations?
Because that's the word that people tend to use, so I'm using a word they're familiar with.
I mean, you could say Scooby-Doo investigations. That would be a little bit more apropos. But you just...
We should just have legally... I mean, it looks like that's what we get. Just have Legally Blonde run the rest of this, because... like, she's... Like, Stardust is needing her to hammer this guy for her, because...
Stated that you haven't done any training. I don't know what you just said. I was just speaking, but you haven't done anything else that's either educated yourself or made you more aware of the proper and appropriate way to do this. This is something I work as a sexual survivor, assault advocate. There are specific trainings that are offered to both protect people online, what to do with reports online, that are all available for free. You know, I'm certain that if you did a Google search right now and it said how to figure out if my kids are being groomed or talking to a predator, there are 89 guides that would make you a subject matter expert to do this. But if you haven't done that, and yet, as you just stated, people will come to you and report these things to you because there is either a reliance in your community on you being an expert, or you have held yourself out as being the only one adult enough to find ways to do things. I think that we can both agree, right? Like, if you're going to be involved in this, should you not, if you're going to be swimming in this pool, shouldn't you learn how to, like, dog stroke at least?
Why don't you explain to me what you consider to be an investigation?
Stardust, you better be taking notes there. You better have, like, pad out there. Like, be like, okay, this is how to debate pedophile.
Is that retail in your mind?
So first off, I don't think that I would call anything I did an investigation with this. I would say someone came to me and made a report or tried to talk to me. First, I want to make sure that they're mentally and physically okay, and that they feel safe wherever they are, and make sure that they are currently safe. And
Which is
then
contradictory.
talk about...
By the way, it's contradictory directly to what Lio does, because he has had Jordan directly confront one of their predators. So
What? Why?
Demanded.
Why would you do that?
Why? Because it wasn't somebody that was sitting there sending them. It was somebody who was talking and orbiting around them, and it was also something Jordan demanded.
One of the great things about being...
Sorry, it doesn't matter if they demand it. If you're putting the welfare of the victim first, it doesn't matter if they demand it. They don't. That is not healthy for them. That is not protecting them.
Look, Lio, okay, I'm really trying to build a bridge right now. Can you imagine if a survivor of sexual assault came to me, let's say it was a professor, and they said, I want to go throw bottles of pee at his house. And I said, great, let's mount up and let's drive there. All I'm doing is aiding them in the committing of a crime. And that's not supporting them or giving them autonomy or making them know what to do better.
That only works on SVU or whatever. Even then, they're the cops, so they have a right to be doing that. That can make things... absolutely. I don't know why Stardust is trying to 2v1 them. Like, they got... Like, she, I guess, just wanted her word to want to interject, and then says something stupid, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't put the needs of the victim first? Like, I gotta go back and actually hear what...
Which is contradictory. By the way, it's contradictory directly to what Lio does, because he has had Jordan directly confront one of their predators. So
what? Why?
No, what?
As you just stated that to do with the sexual...
I'm using a word they're familiar with.
I mean, you could say Scooby-Doo investigation, and that would be a little bit more.
Okay, Scooby-Doo investigation.
Pee at his house, and I said, "Great,
Okay,
let's
yeah.
Your so.
What? Why?
Okay, so I went too far. That's.
It wasn't somebody that was sitting there, it was somebody who was
Okay,
talking and
let's-
orbiting around.
let's
And it was
go.
also something Jordan demanded.
One of the great things about being.
Sorry, it
Oh,
doesn't
I
matter
see.
if they demand it. If you're putting the welfare of the victim first, it doesn't matter if they demand it. They don't. That is not healthy for them. That is not protecting them.
Like, why?
Okay, maybe I
really trying to
misunderstood,
build a
yeah.
point. Can you imagine?
Welfare of the victim should come first, but yeah, especially if like there's somebody like personally who's saying that they aren't in their right mind, have guardianship or whatever, like aren't able to make rational statements, right? Then why, if they demand like you go search pee bottles or whatever, like again, just because you see it done on TV shows, because like you see Law and Order do it, doesn't mean you can do it.
If a survivor of sexual assault came to me, let's say it was a professor, and they said,
And even like SVU there, like they tend to do it wrong, right? Because like real cops need like a search warrant. You can't just like break somebody's door down because they're like, oh, they might have child pee in there. I'm guessing that. I have no proof of this. No, you actually need like substantive like
a pee at his house, and I said, "Great, let's mount up and let's drive
reason
there."
to do
All
that.
I'm doing is aiding them in the committing of a crime, and that's not supporting
Yes.
them or giving them autonomy or making them know what to do better. That's not helping them really or providing closure, right? Like that's probably endangering them more because if
Yes.
that predator or their attacker gets angry, we have no idea how violent they may become, right?
How is them being in a Discord call a failure of them not being in danger?
They were
How is that
17?
them being in danger?
Because if you tell a predator, I'm coming for you online, what does it do? It tells them that they need to delete everything and cover their tracks better. You've just taught them to become a better predator.
It was already cataloged.
It's not
Okay.
just
It reminds me like those crazy scams where like get like the scam call or whatever that says, "Oh, there's a warrant out for your arrest" or whatever. Like, don't ever trust those. One of the big giveaways to me, like, if the cops have a warrant for your arrest and like can arrest you, they'll just come to your door and arrest you, right? They're not going to give you a phone call like as a courtesy to be like, "Hey, you could pay us the cops off and we'll ignore it." Like, no police department, like even the crooked ones, I think, work that way. That's
I think you're saying it teaches them to be. Hold on. You're saying that it teaches them to be a better predator, but more often than not, no.
if you tip them off, they're just going to run.
In the same way you don't know whether Rosa Ray Ramsey was actually able to grasp and understand child endangerment when she said she was bothered most by lying. Yes, most toddlers are bothered most when they figure out somebody lies to them because they can't conceptualize what you mean when you say child predator. That right there should have been a signifier of this person may not be speaking the same way that I am. But in this case as well, there's no way for you to verify what they do or do not know. I think maybe a problem is that you give people too much of the benefit of a doubt. But the only thing you are really doing is you continue to jeopardize any attempts to both hold yourself out as a good resource for possible victims and for anybody who would care to try and file an actual report.
All right, then what I want you to do, if you don't mind, walk me through, because you say you've been through these classes, right?
For sexual assault survivors, yes.
Yeah, walk me through what the process would be then for reporting these people.
Okay, that'll be super easy. 1 second.
Sure, go for it.
I'm going to the RAIN site. If you suspect a child is being harmed, where to report? Go to the RAIN state law database, call or text the Child Help National Abuse Hotline, or online.rain.org.
Yes.
I can give you the hotline number as well. How to detect a child predator online. This is from a Moby, a parenting blog from February 13th of 2024. This is all from the Child Crime Prevention and Safety Center. And while there are online dangers and how people groom them, these are all from ChildNet and protecting their kids from online things. Parents then can then this is even an app in which
I'm just going to keep reiterating this because I don't have a lot else to say here. Like, Stardust should have had moderated the convo between these two, like, from the get-go.
Their activity, and then it'll file reports specifically with the FBI. This is the Attorney General's office reporting a possible sexual cybercrime as well. How to make a report at the FBI.
I do have a question. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. Am I interrupting anything right now? Or?
Oh, a little bit, but go ahead.
You know what? I'll let Barb finish, and then I'll ask my question. So.
Sure.
No, I mean, again, I'm not trying to be rude, but So I'm on FBI.gov, parents and caretakers protecting your kids, how to report any of these things. So you call a local FBI field office, because every city has one, or you call the cyber tip line. That's it.
So pointing them to authority.
What? An appeal to authority?
No, I'm saying so pointing them to authority.
Yeah, you can literally give them these links, and it'll teach you like what to do.
Well,
but
excuse me. All right, then let me ask you some more questions after Stardust is done, because I think that you wanted to interject if you're done.
Yeah, just related on this topic, you know, people.
Have
Is it
something
true?
important
Is it
to
true?
say?
I guess I have to ask you a question. Is it true that you wanted Jordan to record their essay with their mom's boyfriend?
And I've talked about
What?
I have talked about this so many doggone times.
What the fuck? Yeah, let me just get out my phone and I'll record myself being sexually abused to get as proof to get a criminal conviction. Okay, like that, I mean, he's gonna say it's not true anyway, but, I mean, no, that's literally, like, even the cops aren't gonna do that because you're literally putting the victim in harm's way. Again. And that is, like, aiding and abetting a crime. That's insane. You shouldn't do that for any reason.
But I will run it through just for you, and I don't mean that derogatorily. The situation we had there was Jordan had this person lay hands on them, no penetration, nothing like that. And Jordan reported it to their school counselor, which, as you know, is a mandated reporter. So it got reported to the police. The police
Josh, you just cut to where I am.
That doesn't make sense.
Knew this person had. I'm not done. Hey, you can say it doesn't make sense. This is just what happened. The police said they couldn't do anything. The mother knew what happened and let the guy come back in one night. So Jordan was worried it was going to happen another night. Jordan, we could not find anybody who would take Jordan in for the night. So we told Jordan, and we were spitballing these things. So it wasn't something that went into action, but a spitballing idea was for Jordan to keep a phone or something on recording in case somebody came in, so they could at least forward something to the police if something did happen. Not the same
So then you're saying yes. Your answer is literally you are going around.
Wait! Oh no! No! Don't mean to laugh at this, but this. Wait, so he's saying no, but yes, actually, like it doesn't matter if there's like actual evidence to report to the police. You can. Like, can't you ask for, like, shelter? From my understanding, like, let's see. I gotta actually look this up. Let's see. Even with Canada, we have sheltersafe.ca. Give me USA. Bethesda. Childwelfare.gov. Like, this guy's online, even if the other person, like the child, the victim, doesn't know how to find these things. It's his responsibility getting himself involved now to do this sort of work. So yeah, there's absolutely, like, online resources, like catalogs of the available shelters. And that's what those are there for. And maybe they don't live in a state or area where that's accessible. That sucks. I think CPS or something. No, you can.
You're going around. You're going around and finding an elaborate way to say yes.
No.
What?
How is surveillance the same thing as requiring somebody to record an essay? Explain
Because
that.
it's requiring them
it's not. I didn't say requirement. I said, did you ask them? Did you ask them to record their essay? And you basically answered yes.
No, I did not ask. I told them to put up surveillance. You're assuming
Okay.
that something would happen. I'm sorry, should surveillance not happen when you have literally no other option? Is that the problem
You
here?
do have other options, though. If she is a child, I'm sorry, if she or they are a child.
Let's ask Nico Nerd what they would have done. What they would have done is a dox tipster in this situation, right?
Endangered. Call it, and again, I'm going to give you options without
fucking
taking into
Nico
consideration that they may, that whatever else. They can themselves call the police. They can call RAIN, which is a rape. Did they call the Rape and Incest National Network? They called that.
There was no.
Literally what I just fucking said, that there's resources online that you can go to, even if no shelter is available, right? there are also lists of available shelters. Like, if you're actually, even as a minor, like, if you're afraid that you are going to be SA'd, most important thing, right, is to get out of Dodge. Like, not be in a position for that. No, as soon as you're like, well, stay there so we can record it, that's like, you're basically asking for the crimes to be committed at that point. That's... And sure, if they run or go to a shelter... Doesn't the A stand for abuse in rain? Maybe? Let's see. Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, largest anti-sexual violence organization. Sexual assault hotline. You can call them. And this is also when, like, calling the, like, emergency line, like, cops can actually be useful, right? Because, again, even if there's no crimes committed, like, nobody's going to be booked on anything, right? You can say, like, they could say that they're a minor, that they're in this dangerous situation. Can you get me out of it? And cops take sex crimes and crimes involving minors, potential crimes involving minors, very seriously. No, it's about crime prevention, not criminal punishment. Like, it's both things, but no, cops literally are supposed to be there as an authority to prevent crimes being committed. You don't send a person out there to bait the crime and to commit it, to get evidence to send to the cops. We could have just gone to the cops in the first place. I'm going insane.
It is sexual battery against a minor. It most definitely would count underneath Rape and Incest National Network. Any sort of sexual abuse like that.
They couldn't do anything.
So again, calling RAIN is another resource in which you have the power
Just because it's catalog.
of a multi-million-dollar national network that will specifically try to find Halloween
Stardust. What the
or ensure
fuck
that
are you
they
doing?
involve CPS or someone else to make it.
How long does it take? How long?
You're right. Even if you call it in and nothing happens, the police will still catalog that, like, that. No, the minor in this instance made a report against that person, and that will stay on that person's permanent record. So again, they go around places, and we find that they have like 30 cases of this on their permanent record, but they've never been arrested for anything. Then the police are going to start investigating them. Then there's going to be look into getting a warrant, right? That's why this shit is important. And again, I'm just telling you right now, like, people need to stop going to police after the crime has already been committed. Like, that's not how we're supposed to engage with law enforcement. Like, if we never bother to prevent the crimes in the first place, the crime is going to keep happening. Like, we can punish the crimes. That's what the prison system is for. The cops can go arrest these guys. They can be tried. That's what the court system is for. But the uniformed officers, when they get called out on the scene, when they're out on patrol, what they're trying to do is stop the crimes from being committed. And they're not going to know about crimes that aren't committed within their eyesight unless people report that a potential crime could happen.
How long does it take?
That's really difficult to know. It could be immediate, but RAIN has hubs everywhere.
Good.
So I work at one.
Could be immediate. May not have been.
I also have a clip here. Can we play it real quick?
Go for it. From here.
So just join the live. I'm streaming my.
Yeah, this is making me insane because, we had the discussion drama last week going back to how, a lot of people don't go to the cops, and again, a lot of people are afraid of cops. There's a lot of issues with the police brutality and people that may not trust the cops. It's understandable. But I agreed, in fact, with the person that was trying to debate me, going through that. The whole issue is that we need more output about this, like outreach, that if you feel endangered or a crime has already been committed against you, do call the cops, go to the police. And if they're bad, like, document it. No, because police officers, believe it or not, can be charged with crimes as well. They're not above the law, even if they think they are. And that's why things like having the body cam footage becomes really important.
Window here,
But
you guys, okay?
No, I know what
if you
this is. I
think
don't
you're...
think,
No, like,
And have a battle plan and a game plan ready for the
going
weekend.
to be sexually assaulted by, like, somebody within your family, like, in your house or whatever, and you can't escape them, call the police on them.
Sure, I think
That's
that's a good idea, but the one
and
issue is
if you have no other choice, that's your choice.
It's going to be hard to sell. How are we going to handle that?
Ah,
Maybe
this
your
is
friend is
killing me.
They're sick and like, oh, I really need to go over there to help for their
It's
sick.
much worse than I thought.
Go by.
Well,
Like, her mom's a dick.
yeah, when you can't get it in legitimately, why?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'll leave that to her.
No, see, nobody told me it was a sexual
Is, of
assault
course, set
shit.
up
Like,
that
I just
camera
knew it was
tonight and
like,
see what happens.
no,
Yeah, that's one thing.
art commentary cringe, like art community cringe, and
Because the moment that's caught on footage,
Those are pretty.
well, it's being
Why are you
interesting.
Why are you talking
Yeah.
about it like setting up like a nature preserve trail camera? Come on!
And what other options do you think
Yeah,
were
you
had
know-
at the time? Because you said that it may not be. So what else?
They were underage at the time, right? They were underage.
Hold on. You said so many, but you listed one.
Well, I mean, in that analogy, like, the child, the victim here, it's like we're... It's like a doe, right? You're, like, putting, like, the trail cam, like, putting a camera collar on a doe, waiting to see how long it takes for the wolves to come and eat it. And be like, well, I can prove that those wolves are eating our deer. It's not good for the deer, though. Wow, this is fucking insane.
Calling
I'm
any
sorry.
teachers, calling an aunt, calling an uncle. If they had literally walked next
There
door,
was
Chat,
nobody.
save
That's the
me.
point. There was nobody.
I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that the best option available
I don't-
was
They were
hoping against
16, by the
children.
way.
Believe.
They were
Hoping
16.
against
They were
I'm so
16
sorry,
at the
guys,
time.
They were 16
Okay.
at the time. You're basically advising somebody to produce.
Yeah.
No, that is not the
Yes.
case.
Yes. That is
That is
what
not
that is.
It is.
No, that's not what that is, and you're an idiot if you think so.
No,
Why?
if this really happened the way that they're saying, and there's like substantive proof, like of his convos, of him suggesting this and such, that now I feel like that could be liable for criminal charges. Like, again, giving false reports, nothing reports to police, not criminal. Setting somebody up to get predated upon so that you can record the crime and submit it as evidence is not only entrapment, but endangerment. It's endangerment of a minor. And that, as I understand, that's a crime.
Hold on.
That is your voice.
Hold on. The
That
child
is
was
your
just,
voice.
hold on. The child was just run out of the room with recorded evidence that the person made an attempt. That's what would have happened here. How are you implying that means I should let them get assaulted or that it's recording? Are you really a paralegal? Because I don't think you are. If you're
I don't know why you call me a
Like,
paralegal.
what
I understand that that's often some people's.
No! The internet itself is trying to save me. Did stream go down? Stream, excellent. Still going. Well, no, YouTube is trying to save me. Streaming games for 12 hours or until I killed myself. So I only got 2 watching. Diorio streaming. Saw that iDubbbz. Chat, can you still hear me? If anybody's in chat, you can yell out. No, it's not. Okay, Josh, I'm here. Wouldn't let me send message for some reason. Get rid of that. Oh, that's ugly. What is causing that? Okay. Where Josh Kiss? Okay, you're still here. Spinning Circle of Death. I'm kind of sick of this shit. I might go back to it, finish it, but let's do something fun instead. Look at Keffals' Twitter. And what is why is my internet fucked? Like, I'm not getting the images. Ay, that's not good. Seems like you lost connectivity. We'll keep retrying. Okay, there we go. Now it's dead. Okay. Are we back?